How we doing, boys and girls? Good morning, good morning. How we all doing? Hope we're well. A little bit of a later start today. But as you can tell, can't log in anyway. And I'm still eating breakfast, so, multitasking and all that. Coffee on the go. Battle Pet Day? Well, let's see if we can log in first. It might be a very interesting day if we can't log in. What we probably should do, turn down the epic tunes just a touch. Turn down the epic tunes a touch. That's, I thought, what better way to start the stream, and what better way to make sure my blood pressure stays at an all-time high than to check the forums. Woo! We'll check the forums, because nothing ever triggers me more than the forums. I missed the regular pre-stream music. Do I have a regular pre-stream music? I'm the DJ, and I don't even know if I have a regular pre-stream music. You know what hasn't gone off those? The alerts. Hang on, please hold. Let's switch the alerts on. Alerts should now be on, in theory. Now the mage, welcome in. Good morning to you. Or good evening to you. Let's, do we have regular pre-stream music? I don't know. I bounce around 3 or 4 different playlists. But, let's see. If we can get into the game, we can get into the game. If we can't get into the game, we can't get into the game. Blizzard seem to be having some sort of login issues. Hello there, welcome in. There we go. I definitely heard that. I'm hoping you guys did as well. We're just listening to some video game soundtracks, just for, some background music. Just nothing too serious. Got a bit of what's playing at the moment. Bit of Hades soundtrack. I thought I recognised this. I haven't played Hades for ages, Hades was a blast. I never completed it. Mainly because I was shit. When you're no good at a video game, even when the game keeps making it easier for you, you always used to start with the same song on the starting soon. Well, I always used to start from the same playlists, but there was like 3 playlists I used to use because, I'm going to be honest, I used to be really, really super mega cautious about copyright-free, DMCA-free music. Nowadays, I just don't care as much for the very simple reason of that when it's live, there's music. In the VOD and on YouTube and my local recording of it, no music. So I just don't care as much. So I'm just playing just any old stuff right now. Sure, I'm not going to start playing flipping Rihanna on stream because that's going to get me in, a world of hurt real quick. But it means I don't have to worry about it too much. Right. A couple of things I wanted to check on the forums. I like to keep my eyes on the community council threads, simply because these are, in theory, the people who have been selectively chosen by Blizzard to be, I don't know, respectable community members, I guess. I don't really understand what the shenanigans was about this. I read this the other day, and this got me interested. I was really hoping we'd see a blue post on this one. A slightly controversial community council member, at least in my opinion anyway, because he's often not so favourable to the goal-making community. Although I do have a sneaky suspicion he lingers in my Discord. But either way, a friend of mine bought 2 heroic raid boosts, one for his alts. A friend. A friend. Asking for a friend. After the first run, he informed me that it seemed to be done by a boosting community. Also, after the second, he noticed that there is a boost community involved, which is communicating via Discord servers. He was even offered Discord servers over battle.net chat. How can it be that they're still operating? If you watch the service channel, you'll see hundreds of level 1s or level 10 characters advertising, which is also against TOS. And which I suppose belong to the boost communities. I went off to the Discord servers to do some research, and I see that they have current offers for current content, so these are not old servers which are not running anymore. I am not so disturbed by the boosting communities as I don't buy and boost, but I don't understand why something forbidden... I don't understand why forbid something if it then goes on like nothing has ever happened. This was interesting to me, This was interesting to me because there was a huge shenanigans about boosting communities. And they, it's become one of those flavor of the month things, right? They did their bit to say, right, Discord, you can't advertise everywhere. You can't put together boosting communities. You have to be, if you're selling a boost, for starters, you have to be the one that's actually providing the service. But it seems to be as if they're practically just operating as normal. And the thing is it'll probably get swept under the rug a little bit because, let's be honest, it's the end of the expansion. Who cares? Nobody's playing retail right now anyway. It's blatantly clear to me that there is a significant dip in the player base for retail right now. There is so many World of Warcraft related distractions. You got Wrath pre-patch, you got Dragonflight beta. There are a multitude of other reasons why you wouldn't be playing retail right now. And so maybe they're just not bothering to deal with it too much. But if you put up all these rules and restrictions, the channel and the threat of banning, please act on it. The Murloc Trial characters reported by me at least seem to get whacked on a regular basis, but why can characters way below max level still advertise for anything? If participating in the service is basically mandatory, it makes no sense when almost all the boosting is for level 60 characters. Can you log on via wow.exe? No, you can't. I tried that earlier as well. I was 32 minutes left in the queue. I thought, oh, maybe I'll try wow.exe. Maybe I'll try that route. Didn't work. Tried to jump back in the queue. 48 minutes. Fuck. So I'm just leaving it where it is. We've got about 26 minutes till we can hopefully get in the game, we'll see. But yes, for once, I'm actually totally in agreement with this. Is that if you're going to put rules in place, enforce them. You've made all it seems like they've tried to do is, right, we'll give the boosters a dedicated channel so most people can just not see the spam. If you want to choose to not see it, then you can choose to not see it. That doesn't mean it's gone away. Just hiding it from the majority of the player base doesn't solve the problem. The problem is still there. But hey, we'll see what happens. It'll be an interesting one, considering this is on the WoW Community Council as well. It'll be very interesting to see if this gets a blue response. Not a lot of stuff does get a blue response, let's be clear here, even on the Community Council threads. Not everything actually gets a blue. Even something as controversial as excluding the slime cat from LFR is not okay. 70 comments, over 8,000 views. Nope, nothing. They tend to only cherry pick things that are above a certain level of severity. This is another one, making solo farming old legacy raids less annoying. 30 comments on this, 6,500 views. Just not even a single thanks for the feedback, or it's kind of slightly disappointing, to be honest, that there's not just a dev that's responsible for at least just going, thanks, we hear you. That's all it needs. Even if they're not going to do anything about it, just, confirmation that your opinion has been heard. And I think that's vital for the Community Council. because let's not fuck about. That's why it's there. But yeah, no, either or. What's in fact, let's check the blue tracker just real quick. Classic Wrath hotfixes. WoW hotfixes. What hotfixes have gone in today then? Let's have a look at this one. 7 hours ago. Here are today's hotfixes for Shadowlands and Wrath Classic, if we can get in. Fated Raids. The following NPCs will no longer be affected by Fated Infusion, Protoform Barrier, couple of bosses. The following encounter abilities will no longer be notably altered by Fated Inclusion, Creation,
Is that your
Spark.
wallet? Or are you just glad to see me?
Who
Both,
be this?
I hope.
Whoa!
1 year.
1 year! Happy birthday, my man. Congratulations and thank you very much. Appreciate it greatly. Welcome in, welcome in. So they're just straight up nerfing Fated Raids, I guess, is what it appears. They're just removing one of the Fated abilities just to make them GG easy mode, I guess. Raid kills for all, apart from me, because I don't even bother trying. Bit of Mythic Plus changes. Oh, okay, so the hotfixes are practically nothing. A little bit of Wrath Classic stuff, but weirdly, Classic's in such a awkward position right now. It feels like it's in such an awkward position. It's clearly the bastard child that Blizzard would rather not have. is the way that I see Classic. They're milking it for as much money as they possibly can. Milking it for everything that they physically can. But at the very same time, wanting to spend as little money on it and put as little resources to it as possible. There was even somebody going as far the other day. Now, this is quite a hot take, but somebody went by the theory that Classic is killing retail. And I was like, well, that's not strictly true. Just because all of the people who are no longer playing retail are playing Classic, let's not mess about. Those exact same people, if they weren't playing Classic, would probably have already left retail and would be playing just not a World of Warcraft game. I would severely suggest that Final Fantasy's numbers would probably be even higher than they already are. I don't think Classic in itself is killing retail, but it is discouraging to see that a remake of a game that they should have clearly known every single bug, every single issue that could possibly be had with it, and they should be able to foresee a lot more because they've already done it. They're not going into this thing blind. Every version of Classic they launch, they've been there before. You have experience with it. You know what the issues are going to be ahead of time. Now, sure, there's a few more, current day technology related issues for sure, but it just seems to be an absolute shit show. Every single they release new servers and then are surprised when they're full. It's like, well, of course you are. Of course they're going to be. Doing the Death Knight starting zone was enough to enough to make me not want to play Classic. I'm really in two minds. That the content creator side of me says I'm an absolute idiot for not playing Wrath, because it'll be a good few weeks of it'll be good for my social media, put it that way. But the flip side is that I played Wrath back in the day and really enjoyed it, and don't think I want it to be. I don't think I want that nostalgia to be affected negatively just by maybe being able to, have a good day on social media. I think it's probably best if I stick to what I do best, which is breaking apart professions and betas and stuff. So the Reputation video made me sad, but not overly surprised. Sad in what way? Sad in what way? That's an interesting take. Surprisingly, actually, I think I need to do a follow-up for that. For reference, yesterday's video, and my complete Dragon Scale Expedition guide. I'm very certain that I'm probably going to need to do not like a follow-up video, but it very quickly dissolved into, well, is all of this account wide or not? And the answer is yes, and the answer is no. It's in true Blizzard fashion, it's complicated. Some of the stuff, if you work on a faction in Dragonflight, some of the stuff, I'm not going to react to my own video because that's real meta right there. But I'm just going to use some of the screenshots because I can't log into the game. If you level up past certain points and you do it on one character, anything that is not directly power gaining, you will have instant access to on an alt. What you won't have is the renown level, though. Your renown is your renowned level starts at 0 on every single character, which I guess makes. I mean, it doesn't make total sense, but it makes some sense just from the perspective of like Paragon chests, right? Paragon chests are meant to be the repeatable, regrind, you might get a mount sort of thing out of them. Are you waiting in the list for retail or just battle.net? This is battle.net. I've not even been able to log into battle.net, and you can't log into WoW with it without having battle.net logged in first. So yeah, but yeah, your renown is at 0 on every single character. But if you've unlocked a feature, something like these ancient waygates, I imagine, if you unlock this on one character, you'll have instant access to it on alts, even if that alt doesn't have the renown to unlock it. The unlock system, once a feature is unlocked, it's unlocked. So as you progress through it the first time, you'll be good. Have I got any more screen caps of the higher end stuff? So yeah, for example, the buried treasures. I logged onto an alt yesterday on the beta, played through the alt for a little while. All of a sudden, there was flipping dirt piles knocking about all over the place. So the irony is I didn't have the shovel to be able to loot them. So they were there, I could clearly see them, and I could loot them, but I would need to go and get one of the shovels first, without having any renown for the Dragon Scale Expedition. But did I take a screenshot of this? I wonder. Why is that not loading? Hang on. Oh, because it's over here already. I wonder if I took a screenshot of this. No, it doesn't look like it did. It's annoying not having access to the game. But one thing you will find is then even if you've leveled up and it says right, unlock cooking recipes or jewel crafting recipes or something like that, that is personal to you. That is personal to you. I saw the account bound rep token in the video. Yeah. This is so that you can, if you look here, see, in the video, this was, the focus of the video was how to level up the Dragon Scale Expedition. So I didn't talk about things like this, but you can see that the Dragon Isles artifact that you run around and get from all of these treasure locations, these are bind on Blizzard accounts. So the theory is that if you level this up on one character, and especially if you're just, passively collecting these things through doing other things, any that you get, you've got the choice then. Do you either hand them in to get Paragon chests, but then what happens if maybe you get everything that you need from the Paragon chests? Well, then you stock them up and you send them to another character so that other character can hand them in. So it's there's kind of like a catch-up system like baked in. It's not as simple and as straightforward as just, once you hit renown 10, you get a 50% reputation boost or something. It's actually sort of baked into the play style of the game, which I much prefer. I hate all of these you just magically for some reason gain 50% more reputation. Well, why? Players can look at Dragon Scale rep on the PTR at least. Can they? I've not actually logged onto the PTR. I probably should do. Although there's no like. I can't imagine there's anything on the PTR, although it is a different build, weirdly, which I'm not quite sure why. Do you think we'll need an alt army to be able to make early gold on professions? No. Much the opposite. Much the opposite. The sensible approach, the more I view it and the more I dive into it, the more it makes a lot more sense for me to just focus on a single character and do everything that you can on that single character, because time not spent leveling a main faction on a main character is extra time you're going to have to spend on that alt anyway. So it's kind of, it's one of those, you could front load all of the effort. You could level 5 characters up to level 70, which, let's be honest, is no mean feat in the first point. You could level 5 characters up to level 70 and then just completely burn yourself out trying to do everything on every one of those characters simultaneously. Or you could just level that one character and do absolutely the maximum amount that you can do on that one character. Make sure you're getting every single artifact knowledge you can possibly get your hands on. You're completing every single world quest for reputation, working on the major factions as and when there's no more world quests to be done. Literally doing everything you possibly can to get as high as possible on that first character, meaning that when you do choose to do it on alts, it will take far less time for you to do it, far less time for you to achieve it. If you are purely racing and the treasures are limited, one time only, funneling the rep tokens to a main might be an option, no? If you are going the multiple... Yeah, if you are going the multiple, leveling up multiple characters thing, you might look at doing that. But I'm probably going to just sit on one character pretty aggressively by the looks of things. Not to mention, I plan to move to a really high pop server, so I'm unlikely to want to be logging in and out all that frequently anyway. Once I'm, at least the first week, when I'm logged in, I'm not logging out. You know, the Homer Simpson keyboard trick will come into play for sure. Once you're in, stay in. So the basic takeaway is that rep isn't account wide. They better at least have a massive catch-up system like they do now. Yeah, yes and no. Like I said, this is the reason I think I really need to make a separate video on this. Because, like I said, the focus of yesterday's video wasn't on account-wide reputations. The focus on yesterday's video was, this is the Dragon Scale Expedition, what can you do with them and how do you level them up? But some things are account-wide, some things are not. I tried to explain it a little bit on the Reddit thread. I don't know if any of you guys live over on Reddit. I also tweeted this out because I was being asked it like in multiple locations, so I thought it would be sensible to tell people in multiple places. But power gaining rewards are character specific. Features and cosmetics unlock account wide. Looks like a DDoS attack is causing the issues. I don't know what their problem is, but pretty much anything Battle.net related is in the bin right now. So totally missed that the artifacts on bind on account. Another reason I didn't particularly highlight it in too much detail is that the Dragon Isles artifacts are, yet some of the other factions hand in reputation tokens are not. And I am not aware if that's an active decision by Blizzard or whether it's just that the Dragon Scale Expedition has had more development time and is more polished. Equally, once again, I'm probably not going to be able to showcase this very well. I wonder if there's a screenshot of my bags anywhere. So here in my bags, it's a little bit difficult to see, but there's the artifact relics that you collect from treasure finding.
Hello there.
You also have these Titan relics. The Titan relics are turn-ins for the Valdrakken Accord. And these are the Centaur, I can't remember what they're called, Centaur hunting trophies or something. These are the equivalent for one of the other factions. I've not found a Tuskar version. Tuskars are all about just fishing and stuff. We'll look at them at some point. But how are we doing, Lyth? Welcome in. Welcome in, welcome in. But so most of the major factions have this similar system. Find treasures, hand in treasures, gain reputation. But only the Dragon Isles artifacts are bind on account. These other two are soulbound. So I don't know, like I said, until I play with those factions in more detail, it'll be hard to work out whether that's like an active choice or whether it's just, you know, further development is still to be done on them. So on the Ginzu sword, that must be a fair chunk of change. Nice. Just launched it, I'm fine, currently playing, maybe close and reopen. No, there is absolutely no way with only 16 minutes left I'm closing it and reopening it. No, absolutely not. I appreciate the thoughts, but absolutely not. We will wait 16 minutes. I'm not taking that risk and putting myself back at the queue again. Good try there, my friend, good try. But grats on your Ginzu sword. Grats on the sword. So yeah, factions are looking quite fun. The reputation side of things is, let's just call it complicated. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Is there any way to keep ourselves occupied for another 15 minutes? Level so much faster. What's Kalani got to say about this? What's Kalani got to say about this? This might be worth a look. Just tried it, closed battle.net, opened again, it was instant, logged right in. I'm sure it is the case. For the sake of 15 minutes, I'm not risking it. But appreciate the thoughts. I'll entertain us all for another way. So apparently we have some huge nerfs to leveling in Dragonflight and a hidden stat squish. That's from what I think this is talking about. That's a really good YouTube title. What's Kalani got to say about this though? I suppose I'll give you guys the link as well if you want to watch this as well. Guys, let me be clear. I'll wait 14 minutes, it's fine. Enough said. Is this not just going to be a rebalance of experience, though? Yeah, but it doesn't. It doesn't, because it's time to kill, right? The video's muted? Are you guys not hearing the video? Oh!
Potential stats.
Oh, now you can hear it. Okay.
Hey folks, this is Kalani. There have been some massive changes to leveling in the latest Dragonflight beta build, so much so that leveling from 1 to 60 could be twice as fast or even faster. The main change comes to the amount of experience required to level, which has been changed a few times on the alpha and beta already, and these latest numbers are a significant reduction in overall experience required, which means faster leveling. There are also some rumors of
Let's say just just simple numbers though. If I managed to, what are we, 25 seconds in and I've paused. This must be nearly a record. But if it took 1 million experience to get from 1 to level 50, because you always have everything before the current expansion and then you have the current expansion, surely? Is that not a thing, right? So if you have it's just a time to kill situation. So the time to level is probably not going to be all that much different. They can reduce the experience, but they're also doing funny things with the item levels, I think. You should be able to manually log into WoW. Let me check. Let me do the WoW.exe shenanigans and let me check. Let me check real quick. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, let's not dox myself completely. It's still trying to go in through battle.net. What if I do the whole... What if I do it this way? What if we go this way? World of Warcraft. Retail. Gotta get out of it. Beta. wowb.exe. Let's have a little looky. Okay. That requires me to remember all of these things. This is why I use the launcher. Alright, it's fine. We'll jump in a few minutes. We'll watch this video and then we'll jump in. But welcome in, Mr. GM. Good morning to you, fella. Welcome. The item level thing seems to be a bit of a bug. Zanzaful was talking about this yesterday. And he put out a little video sort of, highlighting the effect for like twinks, people who like to like deck out low-level characters. But it'll be interesting to see how they
about a potential stat squish coming in Dragonflight, which we haven't heard anything about so far. So let's break down exactly what has changed, what this means for leveling in the future, and talk a bit about why these changes are being made. Before we jump in, be sure to hit up that like button and subscribe so you never miss another video.
Yes,
the main reason people are talking about big leveling changes right now is that Blizzard just pushed another massive nerf to the required experience to level from 1 to 60. All in all, it looks like the overall experience needed has been reduced by about 60%, which is actually kind of insane. That would mean getting from 1 to 60 in Dragonflight will take about half the time that it does right now in Shadowlands, which is going to be great if you want to quickly level up some alts after the Dragonflight expansion.
But that's because 1 to 50 is the exact same amount of time as it takes you to get from 50 to 60. If they mush all that together, surely it's going to end up being about the same, because it's usually you have a relatively fixed leveling and then almost it feels an exponential XP requirement for the last current content stuff.
Expansion starts. To put these numbers into perspective, I've got a fancy little line chart here.
A graph. We love us a graph.
Required experience to level is...
It's not Excel though, is it? Let's be honest. If it's not a spreadsheet, it's not quite good enough.
It's marked as the 0% line. That's how much XP is needed to level in Shadowlands from 1 to 60. So if the yellow line goes above that 0% marker, that means that leveling will be slower, and if the line goes below that marker, that means the leveling will be faster. So as you can see, it's not just as simple as everything is faster, it actually fluctuates quite a bit. Getting to level 10 is going to be quite a bit faster than previously, but from levels 10 to about 30, leveling will actually slow down quite a bit. This might be intended to give you more time to play around with new abilities and key talent points.
Yeah, this is what I thought a while ago. With such a monstrously large change to the talents, if you're... 1 to 10 basically doesn't matter, but once you start getting level 10 and plus, 10 to 30 is where you're going to start being given a whole bunch of new abilities, and it makes a lot more sense for them to slow your progress down at that point, because they don't want you to accidentally, after a few hours, have 25 different abilities which you can choose 10 of them and just be like, what is this? It makes a lot of sense for them to slow down the early leveling so that when you're building that, investing in the class fantasy, that you slowly but surely start to understand more. If it's your first time playing a warlock, oh right, okay, these are my minions. I can choose these minions. Right, do I want to do this curse or do I want to do a shadow bolt? I don't play a warlock, can you tell? But it makes a lot more sense, I think, in the early levelings to slow you down a touch so that you have time to just kind of work this out. But once you've got your toolkit, it's always been about halfway through the leveling that you end up with most of your toolkit. Once you've got the core basics, and your talents then sort of devolve into, right, do I want to make this talent stronger or do I want to make this talent stronger? Then it's more about like, right, let's just get you to max level now. Let's get you into the current content. Let's zoom it up from here. That's how it feels to me at
level
least.
in Dragonflight, we will earn talent points in both the class tree and the specialization trees, so zooming you through these early talents might be a bit too much for newer players especially. But at around level 31, 32, things start to speed up dramatically, and it just keeps going until about level 50, where there's about a 75% reduction in overall experience required to level, and it stays there until you hit level 60.
Well, 50 to 60 makes a lot of sense, right? Because 50 to 60 is still going to be, you know, it's going to be regular leveling. 60 to 70 is the new content, right? 50 to 60 is going to be old content. They certainly can't expect you to get to level 50 if it takes you 8 hours to get from 0 to 50, and then another 8 hours to get from 50 to 60, and then another 8 hours to get from 60 to 70, it's going to feel really weird. They want you to basically spend 8 hours getting from 1 to 60, and then another 8 to 10 hours to get from 60 to 70, I reckon. That probably makes sense to me.
So the first leg of your journey is actually going to be a bit slower, and then you're going to zoom from 30 to 60 comparatively. I actually think this is a good change overall, and the experience reductions are in the right place. I always felt like getting up to that level 30 mark was quite quick. You'd get multiple levels per dungeon or clear out quest hubs with a decent pace, but then things start to slow down very quickly.
That's a good point, actually. If you've got heirlooms and stuff on, you are often getting like 1 or 2 levels per dungeon. You might be getting multiple abilities in a scenario where you literally do not have time to check them. If you've got one of those impatient zoom tanks that's not waiting about for any man, you get 2 new abilities and you start reading tooltips, you're risking getting kicked, and that's not a good experience.
Multiple dungeons per level, clearing entire zones for a few dings, the pacing changed quite a lot. So with these experience nerfs in place, not only will you level faster overall, but I think the pace is going to be a lot smoother too. There aren't going to be those massive gaps between level ups, which also means there won't be huge gaps between earning your new talent points. For existing or veteran players, these changes really only mean one thing: faster leveling for your alts. But I think these changes will impact newer players more significantly, and I really do think the new player experience needed some adjusting. The largest change for players coming into the game for the first time in Dragonflight is going to be those talent trees. Whereas previously you would level up, you'd earn some random new abilities at specific levels and earn passives that augment and improve those abilities, all of that is now tied into the talent trees instead. So you don't really gain anything passively now, you have to pick the talents in the trees. So making that experience smoother should be of utmost importance if the dev team wants to retain new players that come into the game for Dragonflight. I think evening out the leveling experience up to 60 is a great way to ease players into the game, and making sure there aren't long gaps between earning your talent points keeps things interesting and exciting, as that's where the main focus is going to be for any leveling character. Now, it's worth noting that this has actually happened once already. In an earlier build, the experience requirements for the same level bracket, 1 to 60, were reduced by about the same amounts, actually, but then very shortly afterwards, the experience requirements were changed yet again to be far more conservative of a reduction, and they actually increased in some key areas.
Before we jump into this next section, do we not think that, though, that this is the... I mean, historically, this tends to be how Blizzard tests things. They give you one extreme version of it. They give you one extreme version, like we're seeing on the beta currently right now, on the Shadowlands Dragonflight beta right now. We're clearly in a scenario where we're at the extreme end of the amount of, leveling and the tuning. You not only have to complete all of the campaign, you have to pretty much do half, if not most, of the side quests to ding level 70 at the moment. That's the extreme end of it. They usually then flop to the other extreme. They go, right, let's make it as easy as humanly possible, see how people work with that. Can now people, do just the campaign? Are people, do they ding 70 doing only the campaign and still have a whole zone to go? Okay, we went too far. And they rein it back in and they find that happy medium. Find something in the middle that just kind of works. Do we not feel that they may be just doing the exact same thing for the regular leveling? Hang on, what's this? A bug confirmation? A bug confirmation by Wowhead, okay. Blizzard confirms Chromie time rescaling level 60 unchanged. What's this? We are not doing a squish. The overall goal is for player characters who are at level 60 today to log in at level 60 in Dragonflight with the same time to level and approximately the same stats as they had before. What we are doing is rescaling Chromie time. In Dragonflight, Chromie time now stretches all the way from 10 to 60 so that players can choose which expansion they'd like to level in. And please don't make BFA the default. And they can stick with that all the way to Dragonflight if they choose. So that's going to require that we change some item levels within that range to make it a smooth experience, but the end point isn't changing. There are definitely some bugs with this on the Dragonflight beta and PTR, such as your heirlooms, and we're going to be fixing them up. Okay, see, thank you, Blizzard. That's the level of clarification we need. That's really good. That's really good. You praise them too much. I think one guy just said, we want to equalize 1 to 50 and 1 to 60 to require the same amount of time. If they can, I mean, that should be the end goal though, right? Yeah, like, you know, however long it takes you to get from 1 to 50 today is how long it should take you to get to 1 to 60 once Dragonflight launches. It should be, I mean, they've played with this over many, many years, but it seems to be the sweet spot is about 8 hours of play. They seem to feel that about 8 hours of play is good enough to get you up to where you are about to enter current content, the new content, right? Let's not forget back in the days, it wasn't 8 hours, it was 80 hours. So they've been playing and tuning with this for many years at this point. But it's nice to see that Chromie Time is definitely getting this upgrade. Really early in the alpha, actually, they had this switched on. If Mr. GM's still kicking about, he can probably contest to this, that really early in the alpha, they had the 1 to 60 Chromie time switched on, but it just magically disappeared at some point. So they'd obviously been testing this for quite a while.
On this chart, the 0% is the same thing. It's the required experience for us in Shadowlands as of right now to go from level 1 to 60. So that's the current experience requirements. The blue line is the first round of experience changes and nerfs, and then the red line is the second change. So you can see from level 1 to 10 it was about the same, and then less experience required for about 10 to 30, which is the opposite of the other changes, and then for 30 to 50 the experience was reduced but by less than the blue line, and then for 50 to 60, experience actually stayed the same or increased slightly compared to what we have in Shadowlands. So
this is one of the weirdest graphs.
Through, we would have seen faster,
so little overall, point to this
but
graph,
nowhere near as fast as the newer experience nerfs. If I then overlay the newest round of experience changes onto this graph with the yellow line, you can see it follows the blue line quite closely. There are some slight adjustments here and there, but for the most part, we're just seeing that massive reduction in experience once again. So here's the question: if they've done it once before,
I wonder, you know, I'm not a game developer and I don't have much experience in that field, but I can quite clearly see multiple instances of this every time we go through some sort of testing phase, of that Blizzard have this internal build that they're working on, and they give the general public something. But what they give the general public to test through usually is not really the same as what they've got in their internal builds. And this is why silly things like this happens. They release an early alpha build, which was probably a whoops, this is our internal build. We probably weren't meant to give that out to people. Actually, let's give the one we want people to test. And then they revert back to the one that they were going to do from the beginning anyway.
Is there any reason to believe this new change will actually stick? I think there is. For starters, we are incredibly close to this thing going live. Experience changes and leveling changes in general
usually
have
comes
typically
with
been
pre-patch.
applied with the pre-patch, not with the expansion itself. That should mean that we will see these massive leveling experience nerfs come through during the pre-patch for Dragonflight, which will give us a bit of time to speed level alts in preparation for the expansion launch. So if you've been putting off leveling some alts, it might actually be worth waiting a bit longer for these nerfs to go through. My main point here, though, is that the pre-patch is right around the corner. It's already been pushed to the public test rounds, and they usually aren't tested for very long, just over a month for the most part, which means that the pre-patch could be just over a month away. Folks are already slapping down dates.
Did anybody else see his naming structure for his talent builds? He has MM, and then MMM, And then MMMM. He's about as creative with his talent builds as I am. That's
like
genius.
October 18th or October 25th. And if you remember, to just a little while ago, there was a leaked internal document that said the pre-patch was planned for October 20th.
I think this is spot on, you know. I think this is about as spot on as we're going to see a leak for expansion launches. Everything just makes sense, right? It all fits into play. It makes sense. You give people Wrath of the Lich King. You give Wrath of the Lich King out to people at the end of September. That gives them a month to blast through Wrath of the Lich King. Go hard on that. Then anybody that burns out playing Wrath of the Lich King come the end of October can dip into the WoW pre-patch, start building the hype train up. Then end of November, global launch of Dragonflight. That gives you 4 to 6 weeks before the festive season. And especially considering Ian Hazakostas is like publicly asking the player base, would you mind if we potentially launch all difficulties simultaneously for the raid? Just, you know, because they don't have that many weeks to squeeze everything in before Christmas turns up and New Year turns up and guilds get annoyed because no guild leader wants to be planning a raid over the festive period. I think that this is a leak. Blizzard are probably like, oh, now they genuinely know everything. I can't imagine there's anything on this that is more than a week out of what it will actually end up being.
25th. Now, obviously, these leaks aren't always true, but with the current timeline, with PTR testing already underway, and with the expansion still slated for this year, they seem very confident with that. October 25th is looking pretty likely for a pre-patch date. If these experience changes are not intended, but they're being applied this close to the pre-patch release date, you have to question why that could be. Surely there's no large benefit from adjusting experience rates for testing purposes this close to pre-patch, which leads me to believe that they are probably intended. As another interesting tidbit of information, with these changes in place, the introduction experience for the Evoker Drakthea race class combo coming in Dragonflight will get them all the way up to level 60, something you would expect from the intro quests for a new race or class. That's pretty much how they've worked ever since Death Knights. The starter zone or questing experience gets you to a high enough level to start the next round of content. For Death Knights, that was going straight into Burning Crusade leveling.
It can't be a coincidence all content creators play Hunters.
Legion content, and then for the Drakthea,
it's because we're too busy about
60.
All the content creators play Hunters. You know why? Because we're all far too concerned with trying to, like, what good camera angle can I catch this footage from? Send your pet in. The pet can run in and do all of the business, right? And you can stand back and get some pretty screenshots. It's genius.
At least. So it's interesting to note that when the experience nerfs were reverted...
But it is true. It is true. Most content creators play Hunter. Even Preach, before he dipped, was playing a Hunter, wasn't he? Mr. GM mains a Hunter. Belly Alert used to main a Hunter. Preach has mained everything, but it was a Hunter that, you know, Hunter that broke the camel's back for him. A whole bunch of people. You're right, actually. A whole bunch of people play Hunters. More play Hunters. Yeah, that's odd.
To the red line we were just
pretty
talking
screenshot
about,
meta confirmed.
Yeah.
Got to get that thumbnail
through their intro experience. It's anecdotal at best, but I do think it's an interesting observation. If the nerfs are intended and they stick around, Drakthea will get up to level 60 before they finish their starting area, which means they can hop straight into Shadowlands endgame content during the pre-patch, and then straight into Dragonflight stuff when the expansion goes live. That sounds like a much smoother experience overall. I guess the last question here then is, why such massive nerfs? Why speed up leveling this much for the 1 to 60 portion of the game? And
because
I actually
leveling's
think it's pretty
boring.
clear. Going forward, the dev team are maintaining the distinct separation between the current expansion and older expansions.
Old and new.
For Shadowlands, this
is
was
your
done
old
quite
stuff.
elegantly with Chromie Time. With Chromie Time, you can level in any expansion and follow any storyline from level 10 up to level 50. You can go all the way through TBC, or Wrath, or Caddo, whatever you want. want. You don't have to go through each expansion in turn like the old days.
Or what if you want to do it fast?
It makes way more sense, and it just makes leveling more interesting. It was also a fantastic change for newer players especially, but the big question with Chromie Time was always what happens after Shadowlands, and now we know. Chromie Time gets updated and brought forward to maintain the gap between old expansions and new expansions.
Shadowlands.
With the release of Dragonflight, Shadowlands becomes an old expansion, so it gets added into the Chromie Time.
Now, what do we think? What do we think? There's probably answers to this, and I probably know the answers to this. I'm just probably not thinking straight because caffeine hasn't kicked in properly yet. 1 to 10 threads of fate. 10 to 60 threads of fate. Is that going to be a thing? Are they going to force new players to play Shadowlands? I think they've said that BFA will still be the default. And obviously you can go speak to Chromie and switch it up if you want. But do we think that 10 to 60 threads of fate is going to be a thing? Can we just bang out bonus objectives like a moron all day? Is that going to be a thing? I don't know.
Time feature. Our level cap was changed.
It's real
so Chromie
boring,
Time also gets updated
but it
to
could be
reflect
fast.
that as well, meaning that after the pre-patch goes live, all Chromie Time questing works up until level 60 instead of just level 50, and then the Shadowlands leveling experience is added as a Chromie Time option.
Especially since you can actually cheese Chromie Time by dipping in and out of war mode and also dipping in and out of party sync. You can practically do the same thing 4 times in Chromie Time. So if you find some quests that are like aggressively faster than others, you can actually do some real cheese, some real serious cheese. And I would imagine with bonus, if you can cheese it so you can do the same bonus objectives multiple times through Chromie Time, whilst also in Threads of Fate mode, you could probably power level so fast. Shh, don't tell them. Oh, they know. They know. You wait. Like Arch Valdor will do a leveling guide or something. No changes to flying in BFA to keep the new players on the ground. I mean, that's just ridiculous. That's actually ridiculous, but...
And so you can level through Shadowlands from 10 to 60. This means you can skip over Shadowlands entirely on future alts, but it also means that you can do just Shadowlands if that's what you desire. The flexible leveling path continues up until the next expansion, which will now be Dragonflight, which requires level 60 to proceed into. And I think this ties in perfectly with these experience nerfs, because the dev team might be trying to keep the old expansion portion of the game the same size, or at least take about the same amount of time to get through.
Time's the key thing
place,
here.
You can go from level
Roughly
1 to
8
60
hours
in
to
about the
level.
same time, or even faster than the previous Chromie Time experience of 1 to 50. So this should all be about getting players or characters caught up to the new expansion within an...
Which makes sense why it's like 50%, right? It makes sense that it's like practically half. If it takes you 8 hours to get from 1 to 50, and another 8 hours to get from 50 to 60, that's 16 hours, right? When you squish the two together and you make 1 to 60, the beginning bit, and then a new Dragonflight bit, you need to cut it in half. It's just
ideal
common
time
sense,
frame,
right?
And I do think that's a good idea. As expansion upon expansion was added in the past, it became an incredibly limiting hurdle to get a character leveled up enough so you can actually join in with the fun stuff in the new expansion and at endgame. Chromie Time was a great fix for that, so I'm glad they're updating it in a way that keeps it relevant, but also keeps it up to date with the current state of the game. But ultimately, these are still beta changes. Until they're locked in, they could change time and time again, but I think there's a good...
How many expansions have we got now? Surely they could have it now pretty much so that you could do it in 10 level chunks, right? You could have... I've put forward this idea about Chromie Time a few times, but I don't think I've ever put it in video form. Chromie Time could be, you know, Chromie guiding you through, Chromie telling you a story, and it's all scenario mode, right? So you talk to Chromie is telling you the story of the past history of the game, and as she gets into one chapter, she tells you about the Burning Crusade, and you go and do the key things in the Burning Crusade. and that gives you 10 levels. And then Chromie goes on to the next chapter and tells you, well, after that, this happens. And then you port into a new scenario situation, which is Cataclysm. Then the Cataclysm happened, and, you know, all of this happens. And the entire 8 hours of gameplay leveling up from 10 to what will be 60 could be told in like chapters through Chromie time. And all they then need to do is tweak the experience and add a new chapter. So well, you know, they could take Shadowlands and they could make 10 levels of content out of Shadowlands and just add it on to Chromie's, you know, story time. That's the way that I feel they should do leveling. It would give people so much more of the story. It would give people so much more chance to understand the lore of the past history of the game. And it would get people caught up in a timely fashion, which is kind of the point, right? Do just little boss fights and stuff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could even have, like in TBC, for example, the final thing could take you into a mini scenario in the Sunwell, and you go you go through and you help NPCs kill the final boss of the Sunwell or something before moving on. They could be creative with it. This is the thing, right? They only got to make 10 levels worth of content and an hour worth of story from each past expansion. And then it's done. And then they don't have to mess about with all of this every expansion. They could still have it as an option that you can just level through a zone normally. But if they're going to just hemorrhage all of their past work anyway, they might as well do it in a creative way.
Good argument to be made for this latest round of changes sticking around and being the intended leveling
Hang on. I think we're in.
experience as we look forward to Dragonflight's pre-patch and eventual release date. Now, there is another change that is relevant to this topic happening in Dragonflight. You may have heard recently that the dev team are doing another stat squish. A lot of folks on the beta have noticed that certain stat weightings on items have gone down considerably, leaving characters feeling very weak while leveling especially. According to a recent blue post, this is actually unintended. They are not doing a proper stat squish like we've seen in the past, which is a good thing, in my opinion, because I don't think it's really needed right now for numbers-wise. We're not really getting to huge numbers, and stat squishes have always caused massive problems when it comes to scaling and old expansion content. So if this isn't a stat squish, what's going on? Well, it's actually kind of cool. The dev team are completely rescaling the entire item level progression from 1 to 60, with the old Chromie time stopping at level 50. The item level progression from 1 to 50 kind of covered what you would expect. It gets you ready to start Shadowlands early leveling. But with Shadowlands being the most recent expansion, the item level gains from level 50 to the end of level 60 are insane in comparison. Power creep has always been a problem in WoW, which is why the start of an expansion usually rewards very high item level gear from starter quests to reset the balance and the baseline for the next expansion, so the item level progression will make sense again. But now that Chromie time will go all the way up to level 60, how exactly do you balance that out? Well, Blizzard's answer seems to be literally just to balance it out. Wowhead
just let the gear algorithm do it. They've had this gearing algorithm for years since when did they develop this? Warlords of Draenor? Was it all the way back in WoD they developed this item level scaling so that the gear, the mobs, everything scales like to you? They developed this system years ago, and it baffles me that they don't use it more. Frustratingly, they seem to be using it a little bit in Dragonflight as well, actually, in that you feel just as powerful as when you step onto the Dragon Isles at level 60 as you do when you're level 70. It feels a bit odd. You level through Dragonflight, you ding 70, and you go back to the Waking Shores, and stuff is still hitting you just as hard as it was 10 levels ago. You know, there should be some thresholds put in place to it, but they've had this scaling, this item level scaling, this, you know, mob scaling technology for years at this point. Wasn't it with Legion, the 4 different zones you could pick? Well, yeah, that was one of their first implementations of it.
out. Instead of item levels being low until 50 and then spiking up on the way to 60, they're just going to spread the entire item level progression over levels 1 to 60 instead. So technically you should see higher item level rewards from all sources while leveling up until that level 60 mark, until level 60 where you hit the same item level as where we would have gotten previously. So while it looks like we have an unexplained...
Can anybody say relics of the past? What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do with all crafting? Like old expansion crafting is gonna just literally be in the bin again. In the bin. Why would you craft anything? Because if they use the relic of the past system to try and replicate what was going on here, now the gear that you get in a dungeon is going to be practically double at level 40. It's going to be practically double the item level that it was before. They're going to rebalance all of the relics of the past. They're going to go back and rebalance a system that nobody cared for because they had to squish it last minute because goblins did goblin things. Oh dear. Oh dear. Blizzard really need a long-term solution to this. And I've presented them one. Just let Chromie do Chromie things for leveling. Make the entire leveling process a long-ass, story-driven, scenario-based system with NPCs. Tell an actual story, a role-playing game, an RPG-based story, a proper story, up until you level. And then anything before what is the current content is just, you know, story mode to get you to the current content. And then you're off. You don't have to worry about rebalancing dungeons and rebalancing professions and stuff, because they finally will just admit defeat with it and say, you know what? None of that matters anymore. That's in the past. We want to get you through that. We want to tell you a story. We want to make sure you have as much fun as possible whilst doing it. And then, boom, Dragonflight. Off you go. Go save some dragons.
Stat squish on the Dragonflight beta, it's actually this item level scaling change coming through. It's just not complete yet, once again proving that we are still in beta and things have a lot of fine tuning before the game is ready to go live. But what do you think of these huge experience requirement nerfs and then popping back up on the Dragonflight beta? Do you think leveling should be faster or maybe slower than what it currently is in Shadowlands? How do you think leveling should be paced now that we have massive talent trees to progress through again? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. A big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon and to everyone who's subscribed on Twitch. You can see their names floating by on screen. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss another video. Thanks for watching, folks. Good luck and have fun, and as always, I'll see you next time.
Appreciate it, Kalani. Thank you very much. Good job once again. Make sure you go give a like to the video, and if you enjoy Kalani's content, please make sure to check out his Patreon. Us content creators tend not to like relying on ad revenue because nobody likes ads, so the kind gestures of a few people helps cover the cost for everybody else. So thank you very much. Right then, I think we're in the game. Let's see what's going on. We are in the game. Okay, this to take it back to what we were talking about early on in the stream about reputations. I left this character chilling at the dragon scale quartermaster vendory doodah. So on my main character, my main hunter on the beta, he's maxed out, level 25, the whole lot. All done. But this is an alt. This is just like a character I just powered through to this point. He has all of 1 renown with the Dragon Scale Expedition. But if we go over to this vendor, if we go over to Pathfinder Jeb, who is the dude that sells you all of the tools and the gadgets and you know, the cosmetics and that sort of stuff, you can see straight away, even though I am only renowned 1 with these guys and haven't technically personally on this character unlocked all of this stuff, I can still buy the goodies. I can still have access to all of these. So I can still buy my expedition shovels. I can still buy my metal detectors to put the treasures on the minimap. I can still, you know, I can still have access to the expedition supply kit. This is another interesting one though, right? The expedition supply kit is not shared across characters. This isn't account wide. This is per character again. So it's like when the answer to the question, are reputations account wide, the actual answer is yes and no, because some stuff is and some stuff isn't. And then your Dragon Isle supplies are not an account wide currency, just like Anima was not an account wide currency. So if you want to level this up on an alt, if you want access to the anomaly detection spell framework, you must spend some of your Dragon Isle supplies in this. So it's kind of 50-50. Some of it's account wide, some of it's not. And if you look, I can buy cosmetics, I can buy the tools, the gadgets, but what I cannot buy is the gear. You cannot buy armor, you cannot buy actual power progressing items. I need to be Renown 23 with the Dragon Scale Expedition on this character to buy it. So, and that extends not just armor and weapons, but that also extends to, which is of most interest to us who enjoy playing with professions and crafting and the likes, that extends to all of the patterns. You are going to need to have, if you are a jewel crafter and you want to buy these patterns, you are going to need to be Renown 9 with the Dragon Scale Expedition on your jewel crafter, regardless to whatever you've done on any other character. So, everything that is a talent tree should be made account wide. The box of many things in Torghast, for example, so annoying it's not account wide. Yeah, I don't know why things like that are not. They are slowly working towards that mindset of that, you know what, if you as a player have done it, it should be available to you. It makes a lot more sense, but... So yes, crafters are going to need to do the hard work on each of the characters. But this is why I said, we were talking earlier that, you know, do you just level one character and try and max it out on one character? Or do you try and bring like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 characters up equally? My suggestion is probably to play up until certain choke points. For me, at least, I will probably power through Dragon Scale Expedition when the game goes live up until I get access to this metal detector. Because the metal detector is huge, right? The fact that it puts all of the treasures on your minimap and it allows you just to fly around and collect them all, huge. It lasts for 20 minutes and it's practically free. Massive. Before this point, finding the treasures can be a real pain in the ass because they don't show up on your minimap. Even with, let's not muck about here, even with add-ons like Handy Notes, like Gathermate, showing you the spawn locations, having the spawn locations is only 50% of the solution, right? It still doesn't matter if you have the spawn locations. If it's not spawned, you'll still end up wasting an awful lot of time. You know, is this one up? No. Is this one up? No. Is this one up? No. Whereas when they just show up on the minimap, soon as it spawns, boom, go get it. Done. So, yeah, I'm not too sure how I'm going to play it once the game goes live, but it's nice to see that some is account-wide and some is not. So, always one. I can't bring myself to do rep grinds more than once. Well, luckily, if you are playing alts, you are somewhat passively going to get a couple of renown levels just by leveling. Most of the patterns seem to be reasonably positioned, right? Renown 9 for some of the early stuff. You step up to Renown 13 to get some of like the Jewel Crafter's trinkets. Rank 15. Now, let's not forget, you can get to rank 5 almost for free just by leveling, right? So rank 15 is only 10 levels. That's only technically halfway through because there's 25 levels. So 15 is still not too bad. You can probably level to 15 on an alt quite quickly. 16, 17, 19 for the contracts. So if you want to get the contract on your scribe, for example, if your scribe is not your main, you got a little bit of work to do to get that. Whether it will be worthwhile though, because let's not forget a contract is going to be a commodity. You are never going to be first to market with selling these things. And to be honest, the 15 reputation gain is less than 1 artifact for each world quest. Just not worth. Renown 21. It does get quite high if you want the Expedition multi-tool. A tool to investigate disturbed dirt, clear rubble, or identify magic locks. Oh, that's quite cool. That's quite cool. I didn't even notice that one. The Quack E companion is at 21. And then, yeah, 21. You're never going to need to get more than 20. So 21 is kind of the upper limit, really. Which is not too bad with these fellas. You can get to, you can, like I said, you get 1 to 5 practically for free through leveling. Just getting to 70, you'll get most of the way there. You'll probably end up at 3 or 4, maybe 5. But then from 5, by the time you get from 5 to 15, which is only 10 levels, you can unlock most of the patterns on alts. Not too bad at all. Not too bad at all. But let me leave this dude here, because I've got no intention of leveling this fella. Oh, I should also point out that dragon riding skills are account-wide. But there is a but. There is a but here as well. Dragon riding talents, you do need to unlock dragon riding talents on each character. So, what do I mean by that? When you first step foot, if you've done this on your main character, if you've leveled up dragon riding to max on your main character and you've flown round and you've collected all the talent points and you've maxed out this tree, when you step foot into the Dragon Isles on an alt, you will have the ability to dragon ride, but you will not have access to this yet. But once you do the first storyline quests and once you unlock, you have to go and unlock the dragon riding talents even on an alt. But when you unlock the talents, your 40 dragon riding talent points will be there ready and waiting for you. So you'll be able to then assign them instantly. So there's kind of about an hour that you're going to need to do on all of your alts to get this available as well. So some it's like I said, the answer is never an easy yes or no with Blizzard. Yes, you can yes, things are account-wide, but no, not everything. And you have to do this, and this, and then you have it, you know? Any idea if things like tertiary stats are going to be nerfed in Dragonflight, like with me having a 240% speed druid? Will it still go that quick? I mean, it probably will. Your issue might very quickly be, though, that sure you'll move fast, but you'll get slapped. Your gear will be your primary stats will be way behind the curve. You're probably going to be incentivized to change those out quite quickly. 233 gears. 233 gear might get you a couple of levels, but you're very quickly going to want to switch that up. For reference, when you ding level 70, World Quest content, World Quest gearing is itemized around item level 350 by the time you're level 70. Why can I not zoom in and out? What's going on here? Oh, because I'm pressing the wrong button. I think I've just jacked my volume up to max. Hang on. Let's check I didn't break things. Yeah, I did. I just whacked the volume up to max. That was not intended. Oh, let's put some tunes back on. 61 got the Proto Drake. Can I now just go and get all the talents? In theory, yeah. There was actually a really interesting video that popped up on the internet yesterday. Somebody that's worked out an optimized route to go and get them. I think there's 40. I think there's 40 dragon riding talents that you can fly around and pick up. Somebody was able to fly around and pick them all up in about 20 minutes. So it's not going to take mere mortals 20 minutes to collect them all, though. I spent an hour or so, maybe an hour and a half, flying around, finding them all, collecting them all. But it's in theory one thing that you do it once and it's done. And it's actually incredibly worth doing. Are you able to link it? I can't because I don't have a link to it. But it was, I can't remember where I saw it. But there's already a handy notes module for it, by the way. So if you use handy notes, it'll already tell you where they all are. But yes, it's incredibly worthwhile in the early days, in the early hours, getting your dragon riding up to scratch. 6 vigor is massive. Not to mention that when you're flying fast, this refills super quick as well. Huge benefit. What's the maximum item level you can craft without setting foot in a dungeon or raid? Presumably like 420 or something like that. I've not tested crafting in much detail recently. You can, in theory, if I take... Where are they gone? I don't have... I've got Herbalism and Mining on this character. I can't tell you exactly because I can't remember. But it's reasonable. The one on the really big mountain near the main city I can't get as it's grey, as if I've already got it, but I've never done it. So when I try to get it, it won't let me get it, so I've got 1 skill unlearned. Oh. That sounds more like a bug than anything else. That sounds like a bug to me. I know exactly the one you mean, but that sounds like a bug to me. Yeah. Yeah, welcome to beta. Welcome to beta. Right. For some reason, I've got quests on this fella. Why have we got quests on this fella? Sizzling nuggets. The dark draconium ore of this land contains a high amount of sulfurous residue. Oh, because it's all reset, hasn't it? So this is my mining weekly quest. Gather 20 sulfurous residue from the draconium deposits around the Dragon Isles for Boss Magor at the Dragon Scale base camp. This is my weekly quest. I forgot that we've had resets. Can't get an authentication to log in. Yeah, I just had to wait it out. A bit of a sad panda face on that one, unfortunately, but I just had to wait it out. What's this? Archivists Request. The posted sign is written in beautiful calligraphy. The archivists humbly request that all expedition members seek out the legendary blade Fangfall for our artifact archives. If acquired, please deliver it to catalog. Now, I was saying this is catalog Jake's, but it could be like Yakes or I don't know. Jake's is what we're going with. For processing and compensation, the sword was reportedly fractured long ago, but expedition members have reported that the sundered flame is recovering fragments of it in the ruins of the Anaran Plains. Find 100 fragments of Fangfall, a cache of supplies, and a regular-ass piece of gear. Okay. That quest has magically appeared. I wonder how many more quests are going to magically appear. Now that we've had a reset, this is quite cool. There's going to be a whole bunch more quests to go and do. Titan Training Matrix 3. What? Plus 100 recipe difficulty. Provides the following properties. Set to soulbound. Item level of 369 to 379 based on crafting quality and a requirement of level 70. The Titan Training Matrices are basically the equivalent of your Novice Crafter's Mark and your Crafter's Mark 1. See, I've got a Titan Training Matrix 1 here. I have a feeling they're going to rename these, but this sets it to 343 to 353, but requires level 65. There's obviously a Titan Training Matrix 2 as well. A way for you to take your basic crafted gear and level it up as you level up, in theory. And then once you ding level 70, you can get 369 to 379, which is about dungeon quality gear. Similar to that of what you would expect, you know, Crafter's Mark 2, which was, oh, this tests my brain, 168? I think it was 168. But 168 was like heroic dungeon gear, right? Roughly. And then to get anything better than Titan Training Matrices, you need to be crafting better gear and or then using these, where have they gone? Primal Infusions on. If I make a Primal Infusion, one of these puppy dogs. Yeah, plus 30 for recipe difficulty, provides the following property, sets the item level to 404 to 415 based on your crafting quality. So this is, there you go, that pretty much answers your question. Through crafting, you should be able to get up to 414 without really stepping foot in a raid, I would imagine, dependent on just how this plays out. This might be one of those scenarios where you can only equip 2 pieces of gear with this on it, though. I need to spend a couple of days getting Herbalism and Mining just done, right? I need to sign these off as done, really, because it's almost feeling like it's time to test the professions properly. And I need to be able to test them on a level 70 character optimally, in an ideal fashion. What else are we getting from World Quests now? They seem to have changed these up a little bit. Dragon Isle Supplies, Tuskar Commendation, 80 rep with the Tuskars, Titan Matrix 3, Titan Matrix 2. Oh, there we go. There is a Titan Matrix 2. 356 to 366 based on quality and requires level 70. The free material vendors back. That's the kind of thing they'd put in patch notes. Life Flame Ampoule Trinket, 346 Trinket. Unseal, releasing the built-up Flame of Life, dealing 20k damage split between all enemies. And 28k healing split between all on it. Okay, sure. 2-minute cooldown. Another bit of gear, 353. What we got over here? What's this world quest? Show your support to Rathian or Sibelian. This is interesting. This changes each week. So you can choose to help out Rathian, or you can choose to help Sibelian, and it changes weekly by the looks of things. Breaching the barrier. There's a bonus objective that's reappeared. What do we got going on over here? Pet battle. Get ourselves some polished pet charms. Give us some rep with the Valdrakans. Life flame. Oh, this is that same trinket, but just geared up. 369 item level. Defeat Night Rot. This quest was. This is the Theatre of Blood style. This was bugged last week. I wonder if they fixed it. Flashy Rocks. 353. See, they've changed the item level of everything. Everything was 350 last week. Now it's 353. I wonder if it's just... I wonder if it's tracking my personal item level. Low-hanging fruits. Gives us a Centaur commendation. Titan Training Matrix 3. Hey, it seems to be nice that they've switched up the rewards a bunch. Maybe I was just really unlucky with my World Quest rewards last week, but practically everything was Dragon Isle supplies, which was just annoying because I'm not short on Dragon Isle supplies at all. Okay, what's going on in Azure Span then? We got, oh, Wild Arcana. Destroy unstable Arcana or kill players. Is that a PvP World Quest? Unpowered tools for some Dragon Isle supplies. A two-handed polearm. Boo hiss. I don't want to play survival. New commendation. Thaldrassus we have. Ah, oh, Jesus. Another two-handed staff. Where's me bows at? Where's me guns at? Cataloging, Dragon Scale Expedition reward. And that's it. That's it. Huh, okay, cool. A few more bits and pieces to go and investigate then. A few more world quests to bang out. I'm keen to try and do as much as I possibly... We need to pick a faction. We need to pick a faction. I need to focus on a different faction this week. But have they increased stack sizes, or is the max still 200? No, stack size is up to 1,000. Stacks materials stack up to 1,000 now. Space is still at a critical level though. Yeah, space is a problem. Space is a big problem. Since it's nice that they've given you a material bag, but the fact that it's no bigger than a regular bag, and you're now technically going to be holding up to 3 times as many materials because everything's got 3 different qualities. You can see my herbs in the bottom of the bag here. I've got quality 1, quality 2, and quality 3 herbs. Whereas previously, these would only take up 4 slots. Now they're taking up 12 slots because there's 3 different quality variations of the same flipping thing. So it's kind of nice they gave us a bag, but 1 bag is not cutting it. This thing needs to be 100 slot sizes or something. Yeah, annoying. Old mutts from Shadowlands as well to 1k. Presume so. I've not tested, but I can't see why they'd make a distinction. If it's a material, it stacks high, I would imagine. Considering things have reset, though, I might take a quick trip back to Valdrakken to see what's going on over there, see if there's any more interesting stuff that's turned up. Now that we've had a reset whilst also being max level. We might find some goodies. So my herbalism's maxed out. Whilst we fly, we can take a little bit of a look at this. My herbalism's maxed out. My spec is I still need more spec points. I still need to just work out how we get access to more of these. The frustration for me actually so far is that the daily quests for this are actually quite challenging to complete. The daily quests I was getting were requiring quality 2 level herbs, which even with me having full herbalism, I've rarely been getting. You can see by my bags, I'm very, very rarely getting anything but quality 1 herbs, which is a bit of a frustration. With no seeming way to address the problem either. Okay, we got some what are considered daily quests kicking about down here now. Who are you? Show your metal. Hey Manthe, the Artisans Consortium would like to thank you for everything you've done for us. We'd like to give you some Artisans metal free of charge. Maybe use it to fill some crafting orders. Free of charge? I get concerned when the word free happens. Well, that's screenshot worthy. Freebie. Go on then. I'll take 4 free Artisans metal on a daily. The question is was that a daily quest or was that a weekly quest? Okay. Right, what do you got to say? You are... Okay. Gather 100 Hockenbloom. 100 Hockenbloom. You see? Here we go. Quality 2. 100 quality 2 Hockenbloom. I have only, in the history of ever, collected 160. Okay. Well, here you go. You have it. And that gives me 3 knowledge points. 3 knowledge points. Boom. also gave me no reputation. Or did it? Oh, it did. I think that gave me 25 rep. Okay. What's this daily quest? This is going to be the mining one. What does the mining fella need? Mine, all mine, mine, mine. Mine, mine. What's that out? Finding Nemo, right? The seagulls in Finding Nemo. Gather 20 draconium ore. $20 quality 2 draconium ore. Yeah, not happening. Not happening in a month of Sundays. I have never found, from what I can gather, I have never found a quality 2 draconium ore. No. I've somehow magically got 4 quality 3. I'm not sure how I got those, but I've only ever found 49 quality 1 draconium ore. Oh dear. Okay. We might have to do a bit of mining and herbalism to get these banged out. Mining is in a... It's weird, right? Mining and herbalism seem to be very different, even though they're both gathering quests, and you'd practically expect them to be a carbon copy of each other. Leveling mining is a pain in the ass. Leveling herbalism, though, easy source. Easy source. Leveling mining, pain in the ass. Because Tyrivite does not give me any skill points. The only thing that gives me skill points is draconium deposits, which are rare as rocking horse doo-doo right now. And even then, they're not guaranteed to give me a skill point. So I'm not entirely sure what the hell I'm meant to be doing to leveling up mining from this point on. Because what can I do? Like, other than trying to desperately find these, and these are going to stop giving me skill points at some point. Like, how the hell am I meant to get to 100 mining skill? I can imagine that maybe I just need to... Is there something I unlock at any point through these? Increase your ability. These are busted. These don't work. Is the equipment helping you out in any form with that? No, not really, because the equipment just gives you, like, secondary stats. The secondary stats on the equipment are your finesse, your deafness, and perception. Your ability to spot rare reagents, your increasing gathering speed, and a percentage chance to gather more of the primary reagent. But there seems to be very little here to further your understanding of the different metals found across the Dragon Isles. Specializing in this path will increase your efficiency as a miner and gain the ability to refine ores into higher quality. Gain +1 skill when mining all nodes per point in this specialization. Is this maybe a thing? Do we maybe have to specialize in the understanding of draconium to improve your ability to gather and refine this metal in various ways? Do I need to put 10 points in here just purely to learn how to refine quality 1 ore into quality 2? We've done that, but do we need to do it for draconium as well? Learn how to refine draconium from quality 2 to quality 3. Or what? When do we learn the ability to turn draconium into... Refining Titan ore now has a small chance of uncovering awakened order. Clever. The only thing I can refine is Tyrivite. I don't have the ability to refine draconium. So even if I'm finding quality 1... Doesn't say how we learn this. I'm I'm of the opinion that mining is just far less developed than what herbalism is. Because I think at this point, I should have the ability to take tier 1 draconium and turn it into tier 2. And I probably need to spec into this quite quickly if I want to continue to skill up the profession. Because I'm going to need to hunt down draconium ore nodes. And even when I do, I need to somehow magically get better quality draconium out of them. Have you found any knowledge items from mining itself yet? Yes. Yes, I have. Yes, both herbalism and mining, both periodically. I haven't been able to put an actual number to it, but periodically will give you a knowledge point. Is Druid still going to be the king of gathering professions? How good's the Drakthir racial discerning eye? Not tested it yet. I will at some point level a Drakthir. I want to level a Drakthir all the way up to 70 at some point. But I'm aware that that's going to take a bit of time, and I just haven't done it yet. But when we do that, we'll probably give them herbalism and mining just to test that out as well. Okay. Let's then, I guess. Let me hang on. Wasn't I meant to gain was it an ability I get? Oh, here we go. Field notes. I need to actually study it. Right, we got 7 points here. Do I? Where do we spend these? We got 5 points we can spend. We can unlock a new specialization. Practice new methods for harvesting Wraith bark, gaining +1 skill point in the spec whilst gathering it. You have a chance to gather additional Wraith bark. You have a chance to gather additional bubble poppy. You have a chance to gather additional saxifrage. Is it more sensible to put 5 more points in here and be able to learn a new subspec, or is it more sensible to put 5 points in here, gaining +1 skill point per point in the specialization whilst gathering Hock and Bloom? If I spend 5 points, I'll also gain 5 skill points plus 5 deafness. Plus 5 skill. Perception. Finesse. Your finesse has a chance to yield additional Hock and Bloom. Finesse whilst gathering herbs. Is there anything that will help you pick up rank 2s or rank 3s? That's a good question. This is just flat out. Now, my understanding of it is that the closer you get to matching the difficulty of the reagent, so the closer I can get to 240, the closer I get to 240, the more frequently I will get quality 2 and quality 3, is my understanding of it. So at the moment, just straight up improving my skill is in turn pushing me towards being able to gather those higher quality materials. Now this is where I say that the herbalism and mining feel very different, because herbalism has a reagent difficulty of 240. All of the herbs are the same, 240, 240, 240, 240. But then when you compare that to mining, which you would assume to be, you know, roughly the same, Tyrivite deposit has a reagent difficulty of only 130. Like 110 less. Draconium is 140. Tyrivite is different than Draconium. Oh, it makes sense it's harder to pick up Draconium because it's a higher quality reagent. But it's a bit weird, right? It's a bit weird. That they're both gathering professions, but they're both very different at the same time. Like I said, it almost feels like one is just being developed far further than the other. But which one is the right one? Which one is the one that's been developed more? So for me at the moment, just straight up increasing my skill is the main priority for me. And so I think spending points here, that every point I spend gives me +1 skill. And then of course at every 5 points you get something better. So yeah, actually putting in a bunch of points here, we want to get to here, right? We want to get to 20 points in this, because then you can learn to refine herb 2s. So then if you're still only getting a monstrous amount of tier 1, you can choose to turn those tier 1s into tier 2s. If you're not gathering tier 2s very frequently. So actually, yeah, 5 points here is seemingly the best use early days. Maybe they put in 2 different difficulties to test which one feels the best. That's a very good shout, actually. That would make a lot of sense. You know, pair off what herbalists are experiencing against what miners are experiencing, and for them to then decide which route that they take. In a weird way, I would much rather have the more difficult path, because the more difficult path means that you can specialize and your expertise shows itself a lot more when it's a more difficult. I prefer, I'm going to be honest, I think I prefer the mining approach right now. More difficult to level up, but you get access to the higher quality reagents in theory a little bit faster. So yeah, you're right. It could be just let's test it 2 different ways and see what sticks. But if I put 5 points in here, I'll gain the ability to unlock another sub-spec, which in turn will just give me a better chance. You have a chance to gather additional, and I can pick one. I will also gain 5 skill points. Yeah, that's best use of those for now. So let's apply that. Let's unlock, not that it really makes much difference. But we'll just, I don't know, we'll go bubble pop. I don't know, it doesn't make any difference. The one we seem to get significantly less of, and I come across far less frequently, is Writhe Bark. Maybe it's just because of the zone I've been spending time in more so, but maybe as and when we come across this, we want to pick up more of this. Boom. So we can learn that as well. Now we need to get... I mean, I could just spend 2 points here, but I like to wait until I've got 5 points and then spend them all in one go. That's just because I'm weird. But another few points here, and we'll be able to refine 1s into 2s, which will make completing the daily quests much, much easier then. They'll be expensive, but we can, you know, because you'll be... because it takes 5 tier 1 herbs to make 1 tier 2 herb. So... Alright, well maybe then the first point of call is to go out and make sure we've completed our daily quests. So we need to find some draconium ore, some tier 2 draconium ore. So if we look at our draconium deposits, we have a skill of 76 with a primary reagent difficulty of 140. Yeah, that practically means we're not in a good spot to be getting tier 2 draconium ore, but let's try. Let's switch on tracking for draconium. How do I change my tracking? There it is. Find minerals, find herbs. And let's go to some places we expect some draconium to maybe be. You would expect Thaldrassus, considering it's the end game zone, to have some. If we can cheat the system a touch here. I wonder if Gathermate works yet. Do we reckon Gathermate's had an update? I've got Gathermate enabled. I wonder if Gathermate tracks or whether it's had an update. Curse Forge. There's another little add-on as well. Who's good with making add-ons? Where's my resident add-on creators? There's another little add-on that's been in hiatus for a long time that I would kind of quite like somebody to hack the code of it and make it work for Dragonflight. It seems like an easy fix for somebody that knows what they're doing, but I don't know what I'm doing. Until add-ons like Gathermate get their act together. Beta. What's the add-on? It's called Track Resources. It's a very, very underutilized add-on, which hasn't been updated for a long time. I used this back in Shadowlands beta to track the resources on the minimap before Gathermate did its thing. It's a very lightweight version of Gathermate, basically. But this hasn't been updated since the launch of Shadowlands. But I'm sure if somebody took a little bit of a look at the code, they could add in the icons and the tracking for the new materials quite quickly and easily if somebody knew what the hell they were doing with it. If somebody does know what the hell they're doing with it and wants to make some subtle adjustments, it would be appreciated. Or if I can just, clearly this person has, at least at some point, if not still does, stream. Because you don't put Twitch in your name unless you stream. So maybe I'll try and get in contact with them and see if they can do an update. Because it was extremely useful in the early days of Shadowlands when Gathermate didn't work. It doesn't look like... yes, just update all. Here's a fat stack of cash, help a brother out. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. How are we doing, Gumdrops? Welcome in. Good morning to you. Good morning, good afternoon, whichever it be. Right, I'm going to take a little bit of a zip over to... Let's just go one flight point at a time. And let's try and find some draconium ore nodes. Going to post in the TSM Dragonflight channel today with the first couple of questions and discussion points. Ah, nice. Okay, I will make sure to take a little looky. Wraithbark, Tiravite. So there's Tiravite. Yeah, there's definitely a distinct lack of the... Because the Tiravite is your basic ore node. What I also probably need to try and work out, actually, is whether... What the spawn trigger is for the ore nodes, because they differ from expansion to expansion. Some expansions, they have it so that this is where an ore node will spawn, and they have one ore that is a rare version of the basic one. And some expansions, they separate them so that they have separate spawn locations. The reason I'm using flight points is because it's much easier to keep your eyes on the map. Primal Tiravite deposit. I'm intrigued what the hell that is. It's also up above in the stratospheres. Where's that then? That seems to be somewhere you can't get to. There's a draconium node, look. Hello? Where's the node? There's a dragonfly thing. Where's the node gone? Apparently I'm standing on it. Don't be the only time I find a draconium node be one that's busted. It's literally here, but it's not. It's hidden in the flipping rocks. Okay. Is there time walking this week? I don't know. No, it's World Quest week, apparently. It's World Quest week, apparently. TBC was last week. Okay. I don't know how I... Oh, shit. The bed. Oh, sugar plums. Oh, dear. We're dead. We're so dead. Oh, my God. I ironically got saved by the lava there. No, we're dead. Yeah, all the dead. Oops. Oops. Want to Buy Gold has done a good explanation about how mining works. For Dragonflight, is he making videos? Because for reference, it does differ expansion by expansion. They have used different methods in different expansions. Hey, do all nodes spawn when you're dead? Want to Buy Gold has made his comeback. I know, I've seen him streaming a few times recently. Has he been making videos? Why have I not seen that? Why have I not seen that? Has he been making videos? Has it slipped through my radar? Where's... No, his last videos is region-wide auction house video. You got 10k views on that, my God. Oh, he's trying to figure out if it's similar to that of Shadowlands. Oh, I see. Oh, I tell you what, it'd be a real hack if you could search for all nodes while you were dead. Right, how am I going to rescue my corpse here without plunging to my death again? Right, if we do here, here's safe. Right. Typical, the one draconium node seems to be bugged, so... And I can't work out where this Primal Tyrivite node is either. They seem to be hidden by the raid. They're meant to be up here somewhere, but... I don't know how you go about reporting dead nodes. They're asking people to report them, but like normally you just F6 on something, but if I can't even see it... Two ore nodes by raid are stuck in the rock. What were they? It was a Primal Tyrivite. I'm also intrigued to see if these new, Primal, Windswept, all of this sort of stuff, if they are dedicated nodes or whether they are rare versions of normal nodes. This is also the problem why... Because if Draconium is a rare spawn of Tyrivite, the reason you're going to feel that there's far less Draconium nodes on the beta is because nobody's mining. So the nodes are not rotating. The nodes are not being collected, despawning, and having chance to respawn. Which means that there's very, very infrequent. If nobody's picking up the Tyrivite, it doesn't have the chance to spawn as a Draconium node, which is a problem. Which is maybe why in the past they've taken the other approach of making it so that they each have their own spawn locations. But the problem when they do that is that people learn where just the rare nodes are, and they just flat out ignore the others, and they just camp the rare nodes. Does the track resources add-on give you an error, or does it just need the new nodes adding in? Yeah, it doesn't error out, it just doesn't have the new ores. This is the problem. It doesn't have the new, which is why I think that adding the new ores to the system is probably quite an easy fix for somebody that just knows what they're doing. The problem is I don't. I've looked at the Lua file and it looks pretty simple that you just add the item IDs and whatever in and stuff, but it's still a little bit further from my level of expertise. Sushi Man, welcome in. How we doing? Love the name, by the way. Love the name. Big appreciation for sushi in this channel. Love me some sushi. Tyrivite deposits. And this is why I need some sort of add-on to be able to track the locations of some of these, so that, you know, I can do pick a small lap and do it a few times. But it's far more difficult to do that without an add-on tracking the locations, and I certainly don't want to be, you know, putting a pin in a map on a flipping paint diagram or something every time. Bubble poppy, Tyrivite deposits. And I see there's lots of writhe bark kicking about here. This is also kind of why I want to try and get something that tracks the locations of these. So I can spend an hour or so in each zone, and I can then start to figure out, right, well, is one zone sort of designated the saxifrage zone? Is one zone designated to be this? Or from what I can gather, they're all spread out a little bit all over the place, but I learned alchemy in the beta at level 64. I find the first recipe a bit complicated for a first recipe because you need the air things. Do you get other recipes at max level, or do you have to farm elementals for it? I've seen a few people say very similar things, actually. That the... what's the right word for this? The concadence of the profession seems a bit out of whack. Like, it's, you know, it's nice that they've got all of this kind of multiple different materials and all that sort of stuff, but if you wish to be somewhat self-sufficient with your professions and gather up your own materials and whatever, it's remarkably difficult to do that in Dragonflight. Now, I'm going to be honest, a lot of people have said this, but I also think that that's by design. I don't feel that they want people to be quite so self-sufficient. They want there to be some synergy between, right, herbalists and miners are probably likely to come across the lion's share of the elementals. They're the ones that are going to be selling the elementals on the auction house. There may be some things you need to buy off the auction house to level your professions. You know, it's all about pushing the economy in the right direction. And if the right direction means that it's a little bit slower to start off with, sure. There's also a significant change in the way that professions are working. I can nearly guarantee it now that people are going to get very surprised when they get to like skill 50 and just can't get any further, and they'll report it as a bug because they'll think it's busted. But that is actually by design. You're quite quickly through leveling a profession going to hit what feels like a hard wall that you can't get any further. I agree though that you should be able to craft a basic bitch potion without, you know, too much effort. So there's some, there we go, look, rousing air. Wasn't it the air ones you said you needed? There you go, herbalism, rousing air, off a bubble poppy. If you have herbalism and mining, it will work, but it's just, you know, infrequent. I am going to test out some of the professions in sort of pairings. You know, I might take leatherworking, take skinning at the same time, and just see how it feels. There have been a few reports though in similar scenarios. You know, taking alchemy, taking herbalism, taking leatherworking, taking skinning. People seem to assume that you should, but by that, be self-sufficient. But the truth be told is that leatherworking needs more than just skinning. And that is somewhat by design, I feel. It's bad for the frost ones. I find a spot for the air ones, but none for the frost. I've not looked into the elementals and exactly how you get them all in too much detail yet. This is, like I said, why I need to start being able to track the locations of some of these, so I can start putting together like a bit of a map of, if you need this, you go here. If you need this, you go here. Because that information is invaluable to people at the beginning of an expansion. Everybody wants to know, right, if I need these materials, where the hell do I get them from? And even Wowhead and stuff doesn't have maps for most materials and things yet, because it's still really early days. But there's so many significant changes to crafting. I do think a lot of it's going to come as quite a surprise to the player base when they stumble across it. The way that they've been used to doing things is not necessarily going to be the same way that things work in Dragonflight in many scenarios. I made some screenshots in the beta already for farm locations. That's probably a good choice. There's silly things like this, right? Like, I physically cannot get this mining node. And it's a rich one as well, which is hella annoying. Can I F6 on that? No. Where am I? I think there's geodata in the drop yourself down onto it. That's easier said than done without, like, yeah. Without regular flying. Nope. Oh well. Not today. Heroic leap to it on a hunter? Sure. Let me just log on my warrior real quick and level him up. Oh, Titan ore. Now you see, this is a rare. I have not come across any of these as actual nodes. The Titanicium, I don't know. I'm calling it Titan ore because I don't quite know how to say it. But the Titan ore is a rare version. I've not found any nodes for this. Very much like Lithium ore was in the early days. Because let's not forget, it wasn't actually until The hell? It wasn't until Zereth Mortis, I think? I don't think it was until Zereth Mortis that we actually had proper Elysium nodes. Or was there some in the Maw? Can't remember. Shows how much I actually do gathering. I saw a node up here, but was it one I'm particularly interested in trying to get? No. The Maw had plenty of them. Okay, I might have misremembered that. Yeah, what's this? What's this world quest we've stumbled upon? Pressure valve. Relieve the elemental pressure. You know, if we're here. Tag you, tag you. I need to do a bunch of world quests as well. Actually, it's going to be, from what I've tested so far, the world quests are a bit of a happy medium. I don't know how many of you remember the early days of Shadowlands, but world quests just took way too goddamn long. Now, of course, that was obviously a bit of a gearing issue more than anything else. That in the early days of an expansion, you're way under-geared compared to what you're rolling around in now. But at the beginning of Shadowlands, it took practically, 20 minutes to do some world quests, which was just outrageous. I'm hoping that it's not going to be quite that bad this time round. I mean, we've killed a bunch of these things and we're practically at 50%, so it seems to be a little bit more what's the word? Friendly. Wasting 20 minutes for some world quest is sick. It's, yeah. Just imagine how it feels to do it on the beta. You know, when none of this progress is really counting towards anything other than just experience of doing it. This is why I find it incredible how some people play like PTRs and they play betas as if it's like retail. And I'm like, how can you build the devotion to do that? I mean, the second that anything falls out of directly the realms of testing, if I don't do it on a PTR or a beta. Because why would you grind it out? Now, I know that's kind of ironic that, I did grind out the Dragon Scale Expedition to max, but that was still under the illusion of testing, right? What's my pet doing all the way? Oh, he's come back down. I wanted to see, what was in the Paragon boxes. I wanted to see all of the rewards. I wanted to test the, there were still multiple reasons for me to do it, but do it for Twitch Primes. I don't whore out for Twitch Primes anywhere near as much as I probably should do. Dragon Scale Expedition, rep 60 rep. That's like 3 treasures, not even 3 treasures. I wonder if they would improve beta engagement by offering pets mounts for time played. Nah, because people are just AFK for 24 hours a day. You know, the loophole there is easy. Oh, we got 8 Hockenbloom at level 2 though from that thing. Wasn't that just a regular ass node as well? Or a Draconium node? Get wrecked, Hissing Soul. We're off to get some proper ore. Where's this thing then? Rich Draconium deposit. Oh my god, it's Christmas. Where's this one? Is it going to be on top? Are we up? We all the ups? Where are you? Where are you? There, look. Right, practically in the rock. Oh, I'm so going to fall down here, aren't I? There we go. Got it. Got it. Please be quality 2. Damn, quality 1. Damn, only quality 1. And we didn't get skill point. Damn. Right, where's this rich Draconium one? That's in the cave by the looks of things. Stupid purple frog made me think you were a treasure. Okay, not this. Oh, well, there is a treasure though. Haha, magically bound chest. Yoink. Titan relics, that's what we need. Titan relics are your these are the ones for the Valdrakken. Same shenanigans, but for the Valdrakken. This is a good time for me to showcase this as well. Actually, the Dragon Isles artifact for the Dragon Scale Expedition, bind on account. Titan relics, bind on pickup. See, once again, not everything is equal. The Centaur hunting trophies, soul bound. You would hope, your desire would be that they would be, they'd all be account bound. Right, maybe it's this cave. It's got to be this cave, hasn't it? Rich Draconium deposit this way. If a rich Draconium deposit doesn't give me a skill point for mining, something's really wrong. Frankly speaking, I do not know why people play beta at all. I used to beta just to check class changes and never actually did any of the content. But now all the information's on the internet. No need to log into the beta at all. Well, the reason all of the information is on the internet is because people are finding it out on the beta. So that's kind of one of those, you know, vicious circles. You may not necessarily need to do it because somebody else is already doing it. But if somebody else also wasn't doing it, then, you know, it's a catch-22. Oh, still only quality 1. And didn't give me a skill point. This game's rigged. Genuinely, like, how much better of a spawn can I get than a rich Draconium node? That's annoying. I did notice there's been a big wave of beta invites recently. Anecdotally, much bigger than any past expansion, I think. I'm not sure. It's really difficult for me to gauge. Because, of course, I have multiple people every day either saying they're in or complaining they're not. It's kind of difficult to get numbers on it. In fact, when we look at this Draconium deposit, the word mining in the bottom right hand corner of the screen there is grey, seeming to indicate that even this is not going to give me skill points. So based on that logic, I am hard capped. I am hard capped. If this is a lie, if draconium deposits do not hold a high chance of gaining skill, I'm hard capped. I can't get any further. I mean, what can I do? Hmm. Oh, we've also had a reset. I wonder if there's any weekly quests with the Artisan Consortium down here. Please be some blue icons. Please be some blue icons. No, no blue icons. Damn, that's annoying. I was hoping some of these fellas would have weekly quests. Because I have absolutely no idea how to get any more reputation with these guys than I already have. Absolutely no idea. And the Artisans Consortium are like the crafters, right? This is the crafting reputation. If anything, this is the one I should be focusing on, but I cannot for the life of me work out how to get more rep. Got beta invite this time, never had one before despite applying. They do seem to be flooding people in quite nicely, which is good because it really needs it. Do you get experience for refining it? I saw something in your window then. That's a good question. Here, there's no indication that we do. I mean, I can test it. Oh! That's not meant to happen. I think mining's just busted, you know. That's not meant to happen. It's meant to take 5 and give you 1. It gave me 5. That was a 1-to-1. That's not meant to be a thing. Right, we started with 405. We should go down to 400. Oh yeah, that's wrong. That's wrong. Yeah, I'm quite safe in saying that mining's just busted then. F6. Refining is converting on a 1-to-1 ratio. Tool tips and in-game suggests it is 5-to-1. Just that it's white compared to the others being grey. That's an indication that I have the ability to do it. Now it's such that if it's greyed out, it means you just don't have the recipe. It's because I've got it filtered to show even the unlearned stuff. If I show only stuff that I've learned, it's the only one there. Okay, I'm quite safe in the assumption that mining's just broken then, because I'm not getting skill points from draconium deposits. I don't gain skill points from refining it. So I frankly have no way to level this up any further than it already is. And without that, it's proving remarkably difficult to do much with it. Oh, I was really hoping these dudes would have some quests. Oh, it's down here. Well, I can still get some draconium deposits for the weekly quest, I suppose. But it's going to prove nearly impossible to do the daily quest if I just straight up cannot get draconium at rank 2 in any way. Oh, these things are just these random ass plants that you see dotted about. These are Dragonol supplies in disguise, which I don't really care for. I've got plenty of them. Oh, I was hoping I could cheat the system there, but apparently not. Let's take the scenic route. Oh, there's a draconium deposit as well. Is it? Which one is it? Ah! Don't pull the elite. Oh, God, pull the elite. Oh, he's also hiding the draconium. Can we kill him? We probably can, you know. We can take him. We can take him. We're a big boy now. More importantly, stun him, loot it, even if we can't kill him. In fact, you know, we don't need to waste time killing him. A rich draconium node. There's me saying I'm not finding any draconium nodes, and I'm actually finding a buttload of them right now. Me feels that we're probably not going to be able to get that one. That one looks as if that one looks like it might be in a slightly sticky location. Yeah, about that. Alright. Yeah, no. Okay. This one, though. Hardened Draconium one. Do we have our overload ability on? We do have our overload ability. Where's it gone? Who stole my overload ability? Oh, I put them down here, didn't I? Overload mining node. Maybe this is the only way then. Only super special draconium ones. Because look, that's mining orange. This has got to guarantee me a skill point, right? You overload it. Overloading it gives you mining shards. We mine the mining shards. Oh, these are giving me Tiravite? Are you kidding? Oh! All the above. 3 draconium ore, titan ore, rousing earths. Frustratingly, can't actually tap the main node itself anymore, but it'd be nice if it was a hardened draconium node, if it was to then explode and give you more draconium ore. Feels a bit scamaz that it still then just gives you the basic Tiravite ore. I mean, more ore is, you know, more is more. You can't argue that, but that's still a bit of a sad face. Can we loot this chest yet? Is this world event still broken? Endure the elementing alt. Yeah, this seems still broken. If my dragon could kindly stop taking a bath, that would be wonderful. I've not worked out how this event works. I think it's just broken. Because nothing really seems to be happening. I think this is locked off until I've got a better standing with the centaur fellas. Because I don't seem to be able to do anything with this. There's nothing to survive. It says to survive, but... Now, what are you doing? You're also... Oh, you know what? Actually, I've got this magic ability. Mechanism bypass. On a 2-hour cooldown, open nearby locked chest in the Dragon Isles. What happens if I use this on this? It took my cooldown and didn't do anything. Great. Great. Okay. Maybe that's not a qualifying chest. We just pew pew things and see what happens. We've got a buddy old pal here, so... Is it a bug or intended gameplay? See, this is it. I just don't know. Considering this is a chest that's part of, like, a special event thing, I would imagine that's intended gameplay. But why is it on cooldown if it didn't do anything? That's also another valid question. But it's, you place the ability. So, technically I placed the ability. It's maybe my fault that it didn't hit anything that qualifies, you know. Is maybe the logic on that one. These are the these are potentially the bot biting herbs, the windswept ones. When you loot the windswept ones, you get some rousing air, and then boom, you get punted, and you get punted twice. So in theory, designed to break any form of bot-based triangulation system, I would guess, or at least set them back some way. Which is quite clever. Anything to disparage more bots. What was the, oh, it was Rousing Frost that people are complaining they can't get their hands on early days, isn't it? Another Draconium deposit. Oh, is this the one that's halfway up Mount, never gonna get it? I wonder if I mean, I have Rousing Frost somewhere. I have come across Rousing Frost, but the question is I can't recall where I got it from. And the likelihood is I got it from the Azure Span. I probably was killing things out here and got it. But this is maybe, this is, like I said, this is maybe by design though, because they probably want, let's not forget that these rousing element things, they're commodity items. So these are going to be on the regional auction house come Dragonflight launch. So the second the first person gets themselves into the Azure Span and starts acquiring them and starts putting them on the auction house, which will literally be a matter of minutes after the expansion goes live, just because you haven't come across any doesn't mean that you won't easily be able to jump onto the auction house and find them. There's not going to be a single material that's not available to people. And like I said, that keeps the economy in, you know, in flow. I've kind of been hoping that even just by dumb luck that I accidentally get some quality 2 Draconium ore, but it's not looking that way. 63 tier 1 Draconium ore. Never any tier 2. I didn't necessarily intend for this to end up being a completely mining, herb gathering stream, but it's the reality of the beta testing for me is that I end up having to do a lot of stuff that seems, you know, mundane and monotonous. Oh, are we broken? Are we dead? Are we dead? Oh, we dead. We dead. Let's try that again then. Did you see if there was any Q2 on the auction house, or ask in chat if anybody has any, just to see if anybody's getting any? Yeah, the problem is that the auction house is remarkably unreliable on the beta because nobody uses it. Because why would you? This is why testing economy-based things is so challenging. Why did I get tagged in that channel in my Discord if there's nothing in there? Somebody obviously deleted it. Alright, let's try that again. Oh, at least we got disconnected in the same spot. A molten tyrivite deposit is my... Damn, my mining node thing is still on cooldown. I'm tempted to leave that because I don't think I've ever done a molten one before. I might leave the special ones up just so that I can come back to them. Because they're seeming to be... Using this overload thing seems to be maybe the only chance I have of gaining skill points. Actually, yeah, I did gain a skill point off that thing last time. Hey, it's a quest. How do I get this quest? Where is it? I can't believe I've missed a quest. Who's in here then? Hey, look. What's going on here then? Emotional support companions. Please don't hurt me. What? You're here to help? You must save the animals. The Knockhood attacked without warning. We fled for our lives. I barely escaped death by diving into the lake. The animals, we left them behind. Please, I beg you, rescue the creatures. Who knows what cruelty they have in store for them. Rescue the innocent creatures and get a rock of appreciation. See, Blizzard does still have some sense of humour. A rock of appreciation. Thanks for that. Yeah, this is the default UI nowadays. You can switch it all around, or most of it. It's still not fully implemented. It's still not complete, but you can play around with a bunch of it. No add-on needed. I'm trying a few designs. I might put the mini-map over in the corner here. I'm not, because more than frequently this gets blocked off by other things that I can't move yet. So I'm testing a few things. Hey, look, a bag of goodies. A bag of goodies. Nomad cash. These are the treasures you need for the centaurs. I don't know if it's an illusion or not though, but my time to kill now that I've hit level 70 seems slower than what it was when I was leveling. We've had this problem in the past. Oh, placeholder item, great. That's meant to give me regular treasures. That's okay, that's annoying. That's going to make leveling the centaur more difficult. It's always the way, yay for scaling. Yeah, I know, it's kind of frustrating. You'd hope by this point that they kind of do something about it. Because it does... It's annoying. It's annoying. You know, you're meant to be getting stronger, and yet you don't. And this is like what I was saying yesterday, that you arguably feel just as strong, and even in some cases slightly weaker when you hit level 70. than you do whilst leveling, which is... It should be the other way around, really. Let's not mess about. I know scaling's a thing, but they could at least do something with it. Ah, God. See, the annoying thing with these windswept ones, more than anything else, is it punts you into mobs, which is probably the decision, you know, by design as well. If you punt a bot into... Some bot paths are deliberately designed to do everything in their power to avoid being, you know, tagging mobs. Because it's just more that they have to code into the bot to deal with stuff. What's this? Is this where the animals are? We will save the animals. Incense burner. Lift the lid. What flopped out? A wabbit. A wabbit. Is it going to run to its death? Is that kind of the... Got the rabbit. Does the plus skill from the gnomish knife work? I'm not sure what you mean by the gnomish knife. Oh, the multi-tool thing. Pass. Not checked, not tested. I would assume it probably does. Right, that was not a good display of fantastic dragon ride. Whoa, there's a bird. Get the duck. Get the duck. Saved your duck. That was almost duck à l'orange. I'm still terrible at I'm still terrible at this dragon riding thing, by the way, if you can't tell. That's why you tend to see speed druids at weird or lower levels. Yeah, it kind of makes sense. Speed druid, I remember they were chilling out at level 51. Twinks were a thing for a while, weren't they? Oh, growl is off. I should have worked that out. Alright, let's pick you up before I die. There we go. At least I've done the quest. Nearly a cold duck. There'll be some good fuel in that there duck. Alrighty. Where do we hand that in? Over this way. What's that? Is that nomad thing up again? Oh. I saw it and then it disappeared. Was it in here? It was in here. I need to do some of the dragon flying races, you know. Maybe that will give me the kick I need to actually learn how to do dragon riding properly. A rock of appreciation. Call an appreciative critter to prepare a feast as a token of gratitude. 1 hour cooldown. What's this rock of appreciation then? Where'd it go? Rock of appreciation. Appreciative critter. Feast of appreciation. What's in the Feast of Appreciation, then? Oh, it gives me a food buff. Restoring 50 health a second. Okay. Kind of pointless. Also gave me an infected wound. What? Okay. Oh, and a well-fed buff. Stamina increased by 2. Well, there we go. Sure. Need some more draconium nodes. Need more draconium nodes. Lots of Tyrivite all over the place. I'm interested by the rares. I don't know if I'm a fan of this new rare icon though, by the way. Not sure if I'm a fan of this. Okay, somebody's pew-pewing him already. Ow, Cockosaurus. I've done that again. I think rare hunting parties are going to be a thing quite heavily at the start as well. As most of the rares drop or have on their loot table, I should say. Most rares have the centaur hunting trophies, which is the rep token for the centaurs as well. If you want to level these fellas up, meaning I would imagine there'll be people that will actively just try and fly around, using probably handy notes or something to find all the rares and kill them all every day. If that becomes, if that becomes a primary way. There we go, Centaur hunting trophy. Look, if that becomes one of the primary ways to level those guys up, especially considering these artifacts that bind on pickup, can be turned into the hunt instructor to increase your standing with the Maruk centaurs. So yeah, expect rare farming groups to be a thing. Territorial coastling. Is that you? Oh, you're easy to pew-pew and all. I'm yet to actually get anything overly interesting from killing a rare, though. Oh, hang on. What was that? Valdrak and Accord reputation as well. Sand-encrusted greaves. Piece of gear. Not as good as what I've already got, mind, but... I need to clear my inventory real quick. Let's make some space. Let's get rid of some of these greys. Oh, overflowing dragon expedition supply. Oh, that's a I forgot I had that. That's another paragon bag from the dragon scale expedition. It doesn't have anything in it though. Just some dragon isle supplies, which is mighty pointless. They've not made a loot table for those yet. I wonder if this place has herbs or anything on it. Doesn't appear so. Oh, I hit a tree. Like Tarzan swinging through the jungle. Let's regain some vigor real quick. These are the bigger rares. These are the ones that were a little bit more tanky. I'm still yet to really sort of find that, like, what's the right word? Like a routine. There's not like, I'm still trying to figure out exactly, you know, you've hit level 70. What is your sort of, what direction are you meant to be going in? Are you meant to be like focusing on world quests? What's the situation meant to be? I've still not kind of quite figured that out yet. Because the world content, it just seems to be very much, well, here it is, just go and do it. It doesn't point you in a direction, which in a way is good for an MMO, because it lets you just choose what you want to do. But there should be, in my opinion, at least some sort of guidance that should say, right, you know what, maybe you should go and do this, 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 or this. Here's some choices, pick which one you want. Oh, am I dead again? Are we dead again? No. Right, these little things don't seem to do much of anything good for you. I'm out of vigor. Let's chill for a minute. How are the world quests looking so far? Do we get some kill one guy Legion style ones? I've not done many of them, is the honest answer. But there's a little bit more variety. Just like usual though, they're just taking one of the side quests and making you just do it again. There's not many side quests that are just go kill a guy. They're not quite Legion-esque in terms of, you know, you land in, you tag somebody, it's done, you fly off. They do still usually require you to do something a little bit more than that. You know, fill the bar, kill Night Rot, but this is like a big elite dude. This was bugged last week. I wonder if it works again. Collect 10 rocks. Kill a dude and collect some honey plums. Oh, what's this? Fragments of Fangfall. Oh, that's that quest. Yeah, I should go do that. Fill the bar. Kill a dude. Kill 8 more dudes. Collect 6 essences. Collect some frogs. Cook up some fish steaks, presumably. Ride the Cataloger's Raft. This is one of the Dragonscale Expedition minigames, the cataloging minigame. This is a climbing one. Empower some tools. I don't know what that means. Yeah, they're a little bit of a happy medium, really. They're not, you know, they're not totally just zoom in, kill one thing, job done, but they're not too involving. Alright, where is this dude? Can we get to him, and is he soloable? I'm above him somehow now. Oh, in here, probably. What's going on here? Hello? Oh, you're soloable. any rewards for completing the dragon riding races on gold? I've not done many of the dragon riding races. I've done the tutorial one. I've not investigated them in much detail yet. I wanted to do a whole video on the dragon riding stuff, so I'm sort of holding that back at the moment. Boom, get shot. Ooh. Gain reputation with the Iskar Tusker. Iskara Tusker. So we got some rep off those. Can we? Why is this repeatable? Why is this repeatable? This doesn't seem as if it should be repeatable. Especially since it gives reputation. Can we loot him again? We can loot him again. Now, it said it was giving us rep, but is it actually? 963. Remember 963, boys and girls. Remember 963. 963. Cheers, Nice Devil. That's really helpful. Thanks for that. Appreciate it. Right. 963. Okay. So it says it's giving us rep, but it's actually not. Alright, sure. Sure. The username checks out. That's true. Okay. So it's not actually giving us reputation, even though it claims to be. Genius. Genius, that. Or is it giving us items in the bag? No. Okay. So, repeatable or not, it doesn't matter. It's busted. F6. Should the rare be repeatable? The reputation doesn't give the rep, it says. Or the problem is I didn't check whether I gained the rep the first time. Looted a rep token. Got no rep. There's not much more I can say, really. It still shows on the map as well, so yeah, no completion on it. Bit weird, but we'll move on. We move on. Life must go on. Right, what do we got? Disrupt forces. Do we get any NPCs to help us with this, or have we got to solo this one? Disrupt forces. There's a rare to kill. There's also an elemental storm kicking about. So, many reasons to be here right now. Now, apparently, with these elemental storms, there's meant to be like an elemental essence, like 4 different essences. So this is Primalists have unleashed a storm of wind. There's also meant to be like storms of air, storms of fire. You see, here we go, torrential water storm. There's meant to be different elemental storms that spawn, and you should apparently be able to pick up like an elemental essence or something from each of the storms for each of the different elemental types, and then hand them in for some gear rewards or something. But I've not quite worked it out so far. I think we can pull more than this. Famous last words. It's the big elite mobs that have the chance to drop the quest you turn in. You can turn in 4 each week. See, there we go. There we go. I knew it was something along those lines. So it's we've got to kill the big dudes to get the items. Okay. Is this Dragonflight? It is indeed, yeah. Yes. This is the beta. What are my thoughts on the new UI? As it stands so far, it gives me really good reason to get rid of Elf UI. I have no real need for Whoa, what's this? I'm guessing I shouldn't be in that. I'm intrigued what happens if I do, though. Whee! That's what happens. Yeah, the new UI, like, it's, sure, it's fine. I like the fact that you can move stuff. It looks pretty neat and tidy. Yeah, no complaints with it so far, if I'm honest. What about these 3? Hey, what's going on over here? There's some shenanigans going on over here. I think we need to go and investigate, you know. This is a party I need to be part of. Get in there, my son. I haven't worked out what we do with these elemental overflow either. The essence of fallen foes imbues the power of a primal storm, used to procure items from some dude in Valdrakken. Okay. Whoa! Points for days. There's one of the quests then. Bring the primal core to some fella, get a storm sigil. See, now it's all coming together. That's what we were... That's what I was looking for. This dude is on a rampage. I'm going to let him pull everything. This dude is going to town. I mean, please, pull everything. Pull everything. Turn Growl off. Now go to town. This is how it's done, apparently. Renowned 5? How? With who? What happened? I did something. I don't know what I did. I like that you can tag the mobs that are already being damaged by the opposite, especially in things like this, right? Cross faction tagging on stuff like this makes sense. This is one of the use cases for it that I definitely agree with. Because if you've actively chosen to not engage in war mode, then in theory, especially with all of the new grouping rules, it does make sense. It does make sense that, you know, if Horde and Alliance are not quite at each other's throats from a story perspective anymore, then equal mob tagging should be a thing, I reckon. I can't see any negatives against it, let's put it that way. Your purists will probably disagree, but I think it's fine. In war mode, I can understand if it would be different. But if you've chosen to not have war mode on, which is an active choice nowadays, it's not like you rolled on a PvP server, you've made your bed, now sleep in it sort of thing. Right, this dude's on it again, look. This dude's on it again. I'm gonna let him tag everything. If he wants to go and pull the entire zone, he is more than welcome. When he seems to be happy with that amount. Let's go with that amount. I should probably I should probably install a damage meter, because this could be quite funny. BM looks as if it could be doing some, and to be fair, I have gone very AoE spec'd. Beast Cleave, Explosive Shot, Stampede. Grab this dude. Oh, there we go. It wasn't letting me attack him for some reason. Nothing to attack. Why does it keep... why do I keep dropping focus? 80 elemental overflow. I wonder if I can misdirect onto him. Even though he's the other faction. No, I can't misdirect him, unfortunately. But I can let him pull everything. And then go to town. You use the elemental overflow to buy some gear, then you... and the quests to upgrade that gear. Oh, sweet, okay. Well, for whilst these fellas are kicking about out here doing bits, we'll take advantage of this. This is going to be another one of those things that there will permanently be groups for then, I'd guess. In the early days. Anything that sort of pushes people more into group play out in the real world gets my thumbs up. I like that. Optional but not mandatory. Really good fine line. So how many of these, where are they at? Elemental Overflow, 406. Are we talking, do we need tens? Do we need hundreds? Do we need thousands? What's the ratio on these? What are we aiming for? Hundreds per item, okay. Most expensive one's 800. Makes sense, okay. So it's a long grind. That's good. I like that because it's clear that if you've just got one tank and a couple of DPS, you can go pretty wild. Which is kind of how you'd hope it to be, right? You wouldn't want to get fully geared in 2 minutes. Not too long of a grind, got a full set on the first day of being 70. I'm sure if you just go ham. What's the item level of the base gear then? Because regular world questy stuff is, what is it? It's like 350. So is this going to be like 375 or something? Is this going to be like intermediate gear to get you into like heroics and whatever? 369 and it's a full set. Oh, that's quite cool. See, that's a nice happy medium, because your end game crafted gear kicks in at 393. 396 I think is where normal mode raid quality gear is meant to be. Once you start getting into the 400s, you're looking at like heroic gear. So 369 sounds about right for a set of gear that you can farm for by just world, you know, special events. That's quite cool. I like that. Oh, what's this war spear about? Treasure, war spear. Is that to take down the oh, it's just a straight up pole arm. Go on then. We pulled the rare as well, apparently. The rare's in there somewhere. In there somewhere. Tank's doing tank things, which is good. Ah, there we go. Now the rare shows his face. Missed. At least I can probably use some of this footage to do a little video on this little event then, because that's quite cool. Or at least I'm thinking about putting together sort of a you know, what would be a fresh level 70 sort of gearing guide thing, simply because they bang views on YouTube, and you know, it's an easy video to make, because I'm a filthy sellout like that sometimes. Boom! Headshot. Wow, 4 elemental overflow, was that it? Okay, something about that felt a bit wrong. Oh, would I already? Maybe I'd already looted that. Maybe I'd already looted it. It could be fine. Manti sellout. Hey. Gotta do my job, right? Rich draconium deposit. Over this way, fellas. Over this way. Rich draconium deposit. Where is it? It's there, look. It's unguarded. It's unguarded. We'll get back to the action momentarily. Please hold. Ah, still only stinky quality 1. Oh! What's going on here? There's too many people. Tag limit. Well, that's not best pleasing. Oh, phooey. Five character tag limit. That's not what we want to see. I'm all for the cross-faction tags. I'm not so keen on 5-player tag limit. If that's the case. If that's the case, we get our tags in nice and early. we yoink some of the tags if that's how it's going to be. Perks of report it as a bug. Unfortunately, I don't think it is. Perks of being Alliance, yeah. There's a very strong chance though. Come Dragonflight. I'm already planning to move servers because I want to be on one of the bigger servers. The problem is though, is any of the bigger servers are going to put some quite heavy reliance on me being Horde. So, where is it you're going? I'm not sure. I'm going to be honest though, the obvious choice is Draenor. I've already got some characters over there. Admittedly, they're Alliance. But yeah, I'm quite likely to end up at Draenor. It's one of the biggest servers. It's got a massive raiding scene. It's competitive. It's fast-paced. It's my type of jam, you know. Silvermoon, go Silvermoon, tag team with Stroke. Well, the problem is any Alliance server, the raiding scene is just not a thing. Like even Silver. This is the weird thing about Silvermoon, right? Massive population, practically no raiding scene because they're Alliance. And I sure they've made steps to rectify this problem, but it's still okay. I'm not getting any tags anymore. I think my luck here is out. Hang on, what's going on that party? I can get in on that one. Yeah, I tend to feel that unfortunately if I want to take advantage of Raiders' deep pockets, which I clearly do, I might still in the upcoming future need to be Horde. And my time of being Alliance might be up. Which means I'm going to have to both faction change and server change. So, are we going to end up actually being a goblin? We might end up with Manthe the Hunter actually being a goblin. Oh, now they've all pissed... Phooey. Right. Maybe I've had my fun here. Maybe I go hand in my wares and come back and do some farming for gear on a beta. Just gives me the heebie-jeebies in the first place. Maybe I can go and explore somewhat what the gearing option is for this. Let's head back to Valdrakken. Draenor Alliance representing here, but it's a good choice in my opinion. Yeah, Draenor, I find it remarkably difficult from a goal-making perspective to not... Why would I choose to not be on the biggest server? The biggest server with arguably the biggest raiding scene, which in turn results in maximum possible customers. Maximum possible... Sure, it also comes with the caveat of maximum possible competition. But I do have the advantage that I do this for a living. Should I need to be degenerate and play 18 hours a day, I can. Whether it's moral that I gain such an advantage by doing that or not is another discussion, but... You know, I can. Right, dissipating the air primals then. So we got the storm sigil. We can hand this in. This gives us a storm sigil, a symbol of recognition for the brave adventurers who quelled the primal storms, used to procure items from some fella in, well, from this fella. Okay. Then browse some goods. So from here we need. Oh, this is the big boy gear where we need the storm sigils. Where's the not so big boy gear? Where's the rookie gear? You sell the rookie gear, right? Surely. Yeah, there we go. So some rookie gear. 369 is the rookie gear. Oh, I thought you. Oh, okay. What's the big boy gear then? 395 Primal Infused. That's all right, you know. That's all right. Now you're only going to get. Am I right in assuming that you're only able to get 4 storm sigils a week? That would make sense, right? Four a week. Because there's 4 different... I would like to check the status of my Primal Core contributions this week. You have brought a Primal Air Core this week. It was very generous of you. So if you can get 4 a week, 1 per elemental storm, then every 5 is the minimum, right? Of course it is. Of course 5 is the minimum. Damn, son. Weapons, 13. Hey, this is cool though, you know. I like this. This is honor conquest gear for non-PvPers. I was in that group. I said to take you and I'll drop, but then you hearthed. Oh, appreciate the thoughts. I'm playing on Storm Reaver, which is quite a low population server. The legendary market basically died last week. Yeah, I for the longest of time have had, well, like I said, the population of server you should probably choose to play on does in some part have something to do with your play style. If you can genuinely only play an hour or so a day, it makes a lot more sense to be on a low population server. But if you do have the ability to play quite a lot and to stay competitive, then you absolutely just want as many possible customers as you can get your hands on. And in a world where professions are going to be a long-term grind, I think professions are going to be really competitive the first patch. And much past that, I tend to feel that people are like the disparate. I mean, if you look at it from, unless they which they probably will, unless they bring some catch-up system into it, but you look at it from the point of legendaries, right? People complained that the barrier to entry to legendaries was big. But the matter of the fact is that you can still, today, if you wanted to, without having leveled a single legendary, level some up, gain access to 291s, and be selling them on par with people that have had access to them since day one. The issue will probably be with professions in Dragonflight is because of profession knowledge. Even if you can level up your profession quite quickly, if knowledge is still only drip fed to you, there's going to be this disparity. You know, people's ability to catch up is they're going to have to put like a proper actual catch up system in. Because otherwise, much after the first patch, people will be so far ahead and nobody will be able to catch up. And considering quality is meant to be a big thing, if it takes you 2 or 3 weeks to be able to make a top quality piece of gear at quality 4 or quality 5, you're always going to feel as if you're behind. A few competitors are cleaning up for Dragonflight, selling legendaries far below crafting costs. Well, it's liquidate time, realistically, for a lot of people. As the theory is it's much. Let's say you can sell. Let's say it costs 20k to make a legendary. I know it doesn't, but let's say it takes 20k. Selling them at 18k now, taking 2k loss on them now, is significantly better than waiting until the week before Dragonflight when everybody's trying to sell them for pennies. It's damage limitation. If you've had big stocks of legendaries and you decide you're done, it is better to cash out and get your gold and move on than it is to sit on them. It's better to sell it than to not sell it, is the easy answer there. Sure, you could spend the next 3 months slowly selling out the rest of your stock, posting it every day and getting a few drip-fed sales here and there. Or you could take a 5k loss on every one and just get rid of them in a day. People say that, undercutting doesn't speed up the sales of stuff. Well, it does if you do it aggressively enough. Rank 7s are still going for 15 to 40k, still decent profit. Yeah, I mean, if you can, do it. Like I said, there's no issues with doing it. I'm just saying that if you are done and you're cashing out, it's better to just tank the price, get rid of them really quickly, and then just move on. Move on with your life. So if we wanted a full set of this then, what does this look like from a set piece? A 2 set piece increases your highest secondary stat by 269. Your 4-piece set, when you kill an enemy that yields experience or honor, gain a spark of the primals. Once you reach 5 stacks, your next single target offensive ability will launch a devastating elemental attack. Twilight Devastation. That would be cool. And a 6th set, fatal damage causes primal energy to overload you, granting immunity to all damage and harmful effects for 8 seconds. Oh, so that's like the Necrolord bubble thing. Alright, cool. Alright, well, a set of that wouldn't go amiss then. The tier set bonus killed some slots for some classes. Just read up on Icy Veins and you're good to go. I've always gone. I've always gone with the Walmart approach, which is level up everything, sell everything. Now, obviously, there's a limiting factor there that where legendaries were concerned, it maybe wasn't the best strategy straight away. But it did mean I could do some disgusting turnover and ultimately probably led to me getting them all leveled up quite quickly. But I don't know how we're going to do things in Dragonflight. Whoa, what is this? Stormhide Salamanther. A mount. Oh, that's cool. What does he look like? Oh, look. We get our own lizard. Look, I'm riding on the back of a Dracthyr. Skinny lizard. Riding on the back of a Dracthyr. That's quite cool. Fancy. I like. He is a smiley boy, isn't he? He's happy to see you. He's happy to see you, that's for sure. There. Copy, welcome in. How we doing? Right, so I'm going to need... In theory, I could grind out a bunch of this, and streamer privileges could go quite some way to achieving that, but the reality is I don't think I'm going to bother. But it's nice to know that this is a thing. What do we reckon a full set is going to be? Let's do some calculations. We got 200 for a set of braces. Belt 200. Back. Okay, there's 2 options there, but 200 for a cloak. There's 4 options for cloaks. Okay. Shoulders is 350. Boots is 350. Gloves are 350. Helm is 500 plus, hang on, next page. Plus chest piece at 500 plus legs at 500 and then a weapon of sorts, which for me would be the gun, so plus 800. That's not bad, less than 4,000. Less than 4,000 to complete the set. Based upon the fact that I was there for what, like 20 minutes just tagging mobs whilst other people were running around doing most of the hard work, and I got, what was it, like 500, 600 of them? 6 times 5 is 35. Yeah, probably only a couple of hours of farming out there, to be honest. That's not bad to get a complete set. That's going to be, wow, I tell you what, you ding 70, that's the first thing you do. You ding 70, that's the first thing you do. You go get yourself this set. If it's only going to take you a couple of hours of farming this. So what's going on? What we can add that. I've got a little list of shit to do when you hit 70. That is clearly a thing that you do. That is clearly on the list of things you do. Regardless of what else it is you're doing. Can that be done before 70? Unlikely, because the mobs are level 70 and they're elites. You're unlikely to get much love from doing that before 70. And there's probably some limitation that the quest items don't drop for you if you're not 70 or something. I'm not sure, but well, what's this? What's the currency called? Elemental overflow. Grind out 4K elemental overflow from elemental storms. To build a full, what was it, 369? Giggity. A full 369 set. You want what to collect 4 times. Oh, what were the things called? What were the things called that we had to spend over this way? Storm sigils. You want to collect 4 storm sigils. What were they called? Form sigils each week. 1 from each. Ah, can't type. Okay. So in theory, to make your full 395 set, this then arguably, let's not mess about. This is then your basic bitch. This is your 252 Zereth Mortis geared character, right? So just shy of 400. 395 is where, after enough time, just regular Joe can be knocking about at without setting foot in a raid or anything like that, without messing about with crafted gear, none of that shenanigans. Just purely a outer world player has the ability to get a 395 set of gear after some time, though, mind, because you're going to need, what, 5, 10, 15, 22, 29, 36, 46, 56, 66, 70, 79 storm sigils. So 20 weeks, 6 months. 6 months to build this full set, though, mind. So you should definitely hope that 10.1 is out before you can actually complete this full set. If you can only get four of these storm sigils a week. You would hope that a new patch comes out sooner than you get to complete this, which is a bit weird, but either way, it's something for you to, you do your 4 elemental storms each week. GG. The 369 gear that you get to start with is the equivalent of heroic dungeons. So it's basically a heroic dungeon set of gear, which means they may up it like they up the dungeon gear patch on patch as well. M0s are then 382. So, yeah. Titan Training Matrix 4s also drop in M0s by the looks of things. Still not allowing you to make a piece of gear above 392. 392 is literally one item level less than the raid, I think. LFR. Surely LFR is not 408. Get out of here. There we go. I thought something was iffy with that. Raid Finder's 388. Normal is going to be 401-ish. 405. 408. Heroic is 421. And then Mythic 434. That's a really big step up, you know. All the way up to 434. Damn. First few bosses have lower item level, then it ups on each boss. Multiple item level steps within each raid. That sort of makes sense. Alrighty then, that's quite cool. It's starting to come together, you know. Things are all of the pieces of the puzzle are slowly but surely starting to come together. It's taking a bit of time, mind, but we're getting there. I'm still greatly annoyed that I can't properly test professions. Hang on, what are these quests in here? I spot quests. What do you two want? Preserving the past, the ruby life pools. Obtain the pulsating vermilion pendant from the ruby life pools. So dungeon quest. Are these both just dungeon quests? Yeah, halls of infusions. Yeah, okay. So you can go get some Dragon Isle supplies from some dungeon quests. 2 weekly dungeon quests. Keeping the pattern similar to that of Shadowlands there. Is there anything else we can spot in and around? What's that question mark for? What have I completed? Oh, this is where you turn in the Titan Relics. Yeah, how many of these Titan Relics have I got? Only 4. It's worth 100 rep for me for the Valdraken. Alright, we're getting there. We're getting there. But though, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I know we haven't been streaming all too long today, but I think I'm probably going to leave it there for today. I'm keeping the streams a little bit shorter as I am trying to keep YouTube videos flowing as well. But thank you all for joining today. I'm going to go get me some food. I'll probably be playing on the beta a little bit later on. I'm sending you the add-on via Discord shortly. I'm recoding it for Dragonflight for you. Mikey, you are a star, my friend. If you can get that up and running for me so I can track some nodes, that is wonderful news. Hit me up, DM me on Discord or something. That's awesome. I'll sort you out with some game time or something. All right then, boys and girls. I'll catch you all later. Have a good one. We'll be back again tomorrow. Yeah. See you in a bit. Peace.